The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we are about to take you higher. Broadcasting from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado to you listening around the world. This is Spaced Out Sunday with host Tessa Nicole Thomas. You can follow Tessa on our Facebook page at Spaced Out Radio, on Twitter at TessaTNT, and you can subscribe to her YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio for the archive. But we break on command 'cause women rule the world. Buckle up, space travelers. Let the countdown begin.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to go for a ride with host Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Good evening, Spaced Out Radio. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the Rockies of the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high. Get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners and settle down snugly at mile marker 419.9 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, May 12th, May 13th for those of you on the East Coast and beyond, and this is Spaced Out Radio. I hope you guys had a rockin' day and an even better weekend. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and I'm live tonight broadcasting from beautiful Bayfield, Colorado. We are 150,000 strong nightly on Spaced Out Radio Network, spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, as well as Deep Talk Radio, which you can find at deeptalkradio.com. Don't forget to head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, where you can peruse the Spaced Out Radio store and read the encounter online dealing with everything strange, paranormal, and odd. So I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there tonight. Tonight is our Psychic Sunday with Psychic Chris Garcia, as well as our 1-year anniversary doing Spaced Out Weekends on Spaced Out Radio. So let me read you Chris's bio here real quick. And whoever we have on, hi, can you please hold just one moment, please? Okay, so Psychic Chris Garcia has been a regular on our show for a while. Chris, welcome to the show. It's been great to have you.
Yes, always is good to be on the show, Tessa, as always. And for y'all guys, we had to reschedule it because of something that Tessa had to go through. So yeah, we had to just change it, and I didn't even know I was going to be on tonight. Yeah, she had to message me. But I'm back on sooner than expected because I was supposed to be on the 19th, but that's personal. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be back, and as a matter of fact, Tessa, I'm going to tell everyone that's listening, if y'all remember that premonition I had. Well, I got validation on that. So, yeah. But we'll talk about more of that when we have time.
Awesome. And we actually have a caller already. from area code, I believe it was 323. Who are we talking to?
Hi, my name is Devin. Nice to meet you. Good night.
Hi,
Devin.
nice to meet you.
How are you guys?
We're doing fine.
That's nice. Okay, please let me know when you're ready for my question.
Well, if it's, I mean, you have an option of, you have a question to tell me what you want me to focus on, or I can just do a general reading and see what I pick up, and then you can validate what I'm paying. So it's up to you. I gave you an option. I usually don't do that, because I don't like to be told anything, but sometimes some people just, want to have a specific question, so I focus on that, and then I give them plus what they asked me and then some. So when you're ready, go ahead and ask me.
All right. Feel free to do your general, whatever you pick up on for me. My name is Davin again, Davin, if that helps you connect better. So please go ahead. Thank you.
Now, is there any question that you want me to focus on? Or is it you just want me to see?
Just what you pick up on, whatever you can see.
Okay, what's your name? Okay, what's your name again? Devin, D-E? I couldn't hear it.
D-A-V-I-N, Davin.
D-A-V. Oh, that's okay, that's a different name. I've never heard of that name before. That's unique. Okay, well, what I'm going to tell you just to start off, I kind of feel like you're in a situation where you don't know where you're headed. We have a lot of questions of general stuff. Like I'm actually getting health. I'm getting more of, I'm making a big decision of thinking about moving or something, like a transformation. It doesn't always have to be a move. It could just be something that you're going through.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of you're just to me, it seems like you're just lost, very lost. You just feel like you don't know what your purpose is. You have an idea, but then you haven't been discouraged. Yeah. And I think that you've been just really kind of depressed. And it's funny because I've been feeling a lot of that depression with people, loneliness. And I feel like you're just all mixed up with, with your life itself, but your emotions are just very just all mixed up. Now, I don't know. So I don't know if that makes any sense or any validation to it. Okay, so what is it that you wanted to tell me? Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty much everything that you said, basically I just found out that, I'll just say this because I've had this reading multiple times where I found out that, I was cursed and that the curse was supposed to affect me the most. Mind you, I didn't believe in curses. I still don't necessarily believe in it to give it any power. But, I just kind of been picking up on the effects and everything, what has been happening to me, and started to make sense when I figured out that there is basically another soul that is trapped in my body. And it's really hard to explain. And that's where a lot of the confusion comes from, because it's like I'm going through an identity crisis at the same time. And at the same time, the curse wasn't meant for me, but it still happened to me. So it's really confusing, I'm wondering why? And there are no answers to my questions. So I don't know.
Okay, well, this is what I got. When you said that you had a curse and then there was something that there's a spirit inside of you, well, I'm going to got some news for you, okay? And I'm already getting chills all over. So that's already kind of giving a weird feeling, a validation. It's almost like I'm getting this weird feeling like something's about to just blow up right now. Okay, this is what I get. Would you say that there's something around you or feels like something's in you? Okay, well, I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback on that. It's something that has been attached to you in every past life that you've always had. Somehow it found you in this life, even though you were supposed to try to make change. But I guess for some reason, I don't want to say if it's an entity or what, but it's kind of like something like a spiritual attachment. And it seems like it has been following you for decades. It just seems like, for me, I want to say it's of the family. It just seems like it's just the curse of the women is what I'm getting, or it could just be specifically Okay, so there's something to that. Now, I don't know what I'm getting, but I'm seeing like water. Okay, water, ocean of water, or something near water.
Mm.
Okay, I don't know if that makes any sense, but it probably won't make sense until like you
Maybe where the
either.
curse originated from, because the last reading I got was a few days ago, and he told me the place where it originated from, because I'm from Jamaica. And he said the curse was placed on, basically, the person was an ancestor of mine that's trapped within my body. And basically, it happened in Montego Bay in Jamaica. I also got some other readings that keep mentioning bodies of waters or, something having to do with my destiny. It's just a mess.
Well, the thing I can tell you is that I know that most people don't believe in curses. Some people don't believe in hexes.
I try not to believe. I
Yeah,
try
I
not
know,
to.
I know, and I understand that because we got to keep our thoughts in positive, positive and thinking positive. But I'm gonna let you know, from a psychic to a medium, I grew up in knowing about witchcraft. My grandma was like that. That's one of my guides, as a matter of fact. When something was done, she would be able to tell you who did it, like with the person's face. We grew up around that, so we knew when in Spanish is brujeria, but in English is witchcraft. So witchcraft does exist, and it's not the witchcraft or voodoo or Santeria that gives it a power. It's just the witch that does the craft. So if a witch does good magic and white magic, then they're gonna put a lot of positive white light around you. Now, if it's a person that has probably envy or jealousy or hate or remorse, or
Yeah,
just
sorry to cut
because
you
they're,
off,
yeah,
but
and yeah, so there's a
from my
possibility.
past life, I heard that, basically I was a woman in my past life, and I still feel like one, but I feel like I am trapped in this body, and I don't know. So I know that I'm a witch, and I am a medium, but the funny thing is that I don't know how to explain it, because basically what happened is the part of the soul of the woman that's trapped within me, my body, is like she died in the same year that I was born. And I'm clairvoyant, so I get messages through my dreams. And basically, sometimes I have dreams where I'm doing witchcraft. And I was basically casting a spell in my dream yesterday. Basically, it's kind of like reverse time. But the funny thing is, I was born November the 15th. But I was supposed to be born November the 8th. When I had the dream, it's like I was doing witchcraft and reversing time, and we went back to the 8th of this month, and it started to click to me. I'm wondering if that's when, perhaps that's when the lady died, or my ancestor passed away the 8th.
Yes,
And this is why it delayed my birth to the 15th. And it's just, I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I know that you don't believe in magic or any jinxes or whatever, but it's not. I think, in my personal opinion, before you even told me about that you were a witch or whatever, I do feel like it's your destiny to help people with your gift. Okay, I see you doing candle work. I see you anointing oils. I see you doing spell work, love spells, reversal spells, jinx removal spells. So it's like basically it's genetic, and I'm being told that this was an ancestor. But not only that, I'm going to give you a little more.
Okay.
This runs in your family. There was always witches in your family, but back then it wasn't taboo. We never talked about it. It was just when there was a psychic or a medium that was in the family, kept it, and from your grandmother to your mom, and they kept it to themselves. And now in this generation, it's more out in the open. So you might as well just start practicing. I mean, you don't have to do the darker side. You can just protect yourself with the light. Because I already feel like, even though you feel like you're cursed, you answered your own question, because you know you're a witch. So I'm going to give you a little something. You manifest what you create. Okay? So if you want to remove this curse, that even though it's in the past of your past life, you can remove it. But you have put the intention to the universe and say, you know what? I don't want this curse of this past life anymore. I want to be a new witch, and I want to correct, and I'm here to help people. But in order to help people, you got to help yourself first before you move it forward. So
That's a
what I'm
fun
telling,
thing because even during my suffering, I've been helping people. And basically, the angels came to me last year that I should be preparing for some. They confused me that it was my twin soul at first, but supposedly I should be preparing to meet my match or something. My own intuition told me that if it was my twin flame, basically they said it's a temporary thing with this curse. Is that if I united with my twin flame, that would kind of banish the curse in a sense because since my soul is already intertwined with this person's soul that's already trapped within me, it's basically I had to deal with her karma first. And trust me, it was the worst thing I had to go through.
but I'm being told that you can do it, and if you want to, I would start suggesting burning sage, and you can even have sage with sweetgrass. Burn it and just smudge your whole house because you're gonna have to be doing this, like not all the time, but I just think that you need to clear your space. You clear your sacred space. You clear your whatever you pray to, God or the Virgin Mary or whatever.
Yeah.
I would say that you just need to start doing candles for yourself, and then you're gonna start noticing that you're gonna start opening roads for you. Things are gonna start being unblocked. So I'm thinking that you need to just start working on yourself. And then I say probably, I want to say, I'm getting something to do with August. So I'm thinking that probably you're going to have your own business and you will start doing candles for others. And you will have maybe like a small fee. But then once you start getting better, you're going to start raising your own prices. And I see business cards with this and stuff. So I want to say by the summer, you're going to have your own business. And with the soulmate or whoever you're meant to be, you will come across them before that time. And I want to say like mid-August.
I'm supposed to come across them next month on the 24th. But
yeah.
I am not interested. That's the funny thing. They've been preparing me for this union, but as I said, I'm not interested. I've been telling the angels to leave me alone with it. And they kept forcing it down my throat, which is why I thought it was my twin.
Okay, but I do feel that you will be guided, and if you want to, maybe we can talk more. I can help you more on a personal level with that kind of stuff. But if you want to contact me, if you want to listen to the show, because I will give my information, or I can just give it to you right now. Because you can add me on Facebook. As a matter of fact, after you can still listen to the show. Okay, so the number you're gonna call me at, it's 210.
Yeah.
974. 3470.
3470?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
And my name's Chris, by the way. You can actually text me too, but once you program me, I should be able to text you. Once we take a commercial break, I can text you and I'll send you a picture of what profile to look for when you send me a friend request, and we'll talk more later on.
All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll let you move on to the next caller. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks so much for calling. It was great to hear from you.
Shut the door.
So our next caller, and before we get to this one, when you guys do call in, make sure that you put your mic on mute so your sound's not coming through and interrupting other calls.
Okay.
But right now we have a caller from area code 541. Who are we talking to?
Hi, this is Tiffany.
Hi,
Hello?
Tiffany.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. Same to you. So, okay, I was just going to ask you about this because I keep getting told, who's this black-haired girl? I keep getting told that my ex is hanging around some black-haired girl.
That would probably be somebody that he's probably talking to. But it's probably...
Do you know a name?
No, I don't have a name right now on me.
Okay, because the thing that's weird is I never see him with anybody, and I just hear this, but I haven't seen it for myself. So I just didn't know if it's rumors or...
I would say just see if, find out for yourself to see if it comes out true or not, and then you will find out when that time comes. And then you can
Okay,
go
and I
from there.
also have another question about something else, totally off the topic, but I was wondering, does my mom's ex-boyfriend ever come around? He was kind of like a dad to me. Does he ever come around and visit? He passed on a long time ago.
If anything, he probably does, but it's like every once in a while. He comes just to check up on the family. But yeah, he comes around. Yes,
Okay,
he does.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
So how you been lately?
I've been doing pretty good. I'm still hanging on and still dealing with my own stuff, so I'm just here.
Oh, you are? I just didn't know if you're doing good, because sometimes I try to get a hold of you, and it seems like you're pretty busy.
Yeah, so I've been just having time for myself and just trying to recuperate with everything, so.
I got you. Yeah, and I have court in 11 days. I'm not sure what to expect with this situation. But yeah, with this whole situation with the, what's going on, and somebody saw him today and tried to ask him about who this person is, and he didn't say anything. He looked at them like they were crazy.
Well, he's not going to talk about it to people. I mean, so that's something that if he is doing something...
Is this somebody he's messing around with, or just a friend? Or I'm just curious who this person is, because I've never seen him.
Well, it doesn't mean that just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird because I live in a small town and I usually see people, but all over. But I don't know.
I think if this is the girl that he's probably hanging out with, then I would just say that he's doing it very discreetly, if anything. Very discreetly. Yeah,
because I kind of wanted to, work things out or make things better, but I just don't know what's going on, and I'm kind of nervous in a couple days or so. That court's coming up, but I'll discuss that with you on Messenger sometime.
Okay, we'll keep in touch and hope everything comes out.
Okay, I'll message you later then tonight, and we can talk if you're not busy later.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Chris. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right.
Thanks so much for calling in.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And just a reminder, as Trip was saying in the chat room, when we do have these psychic shows, they are for entertainment purposes only. And yes, please be courteous to others when you do call in. Make sure your phone is on mute. And we'll call your number out as far as the first 3 digits of your number, and we'll get you into the conversation that way. But we do have a question in the chat room, and for those of you who don't want to hear your own voices or don't want to call in, go ahead and leave your question in caps in the chat room, and we'll get to those in short order. Our next question is from Jade Art in the SR Space Travelers, and Chris, she was wondering about moving and business for spouse.
Oh, she's wondering if to moving with the spouse or thinking about moving with the spouse. Is that what she's asking? Because I don't know if she's being specific. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, she said, question, wondering about moving and business for spouse. So perhaps she's moving and about her spouse's business? Okay, and she was just reiterating, and she put them separately, moving, and then she put new business for spouse. So perhaps he's starting a new business.
I know we had callers that before we had the description, But for the people that are new to listening to me, I know Tessa was going to do a description, but they didn't let her. Well, I'm just going to say that I'm a psychic medium, an empath, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. I also have the abilities to remote view, see auras. I'm also very in tune with my shaman, my native side. I do missing persons cases, mediumship, paranormal investigation, walkthroughs. Can't think of anything else, but I do other things as well, like channel through, get messages from loved ones. But for the people, like, I don't know if I know Tessa. I told Tessa about what happened on the last show that we talked about, and it was even after the after party. I just wanted y'all to know that that premonition I have was validated, and I just will tell you what I was told. That everybody was telling me to be careful who you give your number to, be careful who you pick your cases with, be very careful. So for you, Tessa, you're validated, and everybody else is validated with that, because everything that y'all told me, I am working with someone that has like very mysterious something in their family, and I'm not going to discuss that, but yeah, I just wanted to let you know that everybody that was on the party after party is validated.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you got some answers there, because it sucks when you have those questions in your mind and you're just like, what does it mean? So it's awesome that you got some validation on that, and kind of scary. I do want to know more details, but like you said, this is an active case and you can't really share that, but man.
Yeah, and it's so funny, Tessa, too, because that day, like after we did the show, I don't know if it was after or before, but I had talked to my friend, which I can't say her name, but I had told her about the premonition, because I was giving her a reading and she paid me for it. And like after, I gave her the reading, I said, well, I don't know why, but they're telling me that I need to share this with you. And what was so interesting, is that I had told her about my grandma, that, she always comes through and she's always awake. Well, guess what? I found out that my grandma and my premonition was asleep, and so was my mom. Well, I found out on her end, she doesn't have both her mom and her grandma. So that kind of like made sense to her, because she's like, yeah, they're deceased. Because then she had to ask me, does your grandma always come through? I said, yeah, she does. And what's so strange is that she was awake. She was always awake. But in this premonition, she wasn't. So she was asleep, and she had told me that symbolically I was protected, even though my grandma and my mom were asleep. But my grandma's deceased, But it's so weird, because she had told me that, she doesn't have her parents. And then she told me the thing is that they were trying to get to you, even though your grandma was asleep, you were in a sacred space, and they tried to touch you to try to get to you, because they knew that she was going to ask you a question. So somehow they connected to your realm of energy, and they got into your dream and gave you heads up, hey, we know this person's going to come to you, so we're going to come after you. So the fact that even though they were asleep, I was still protected, because I was in the shield of a home that, that was of love and protecting and nurtured. So knowing that my grandma's home, and every time that she comes to me, she always takes me to where she lived. So I'm just sharing that with you, that even though they were asleep, I was still protected, because I was in the house and I was protected from them. But it's funny though, because they knew about me and they just gave me a heads up, like, we're coming after you. So yeah, so that's big validation right there. Big. It was huge when she told me what I told her. That makes kind of sense, because she told me that she's been asking a lot of questions, and people have been telling her to like back off and don't ask because you don't want to find out. So she has gotten this feeling like she's been being watched. And I told her, I said, that's how I felt in this premonition. I said, I felt like I had eyes on me. And so, but I know we can talk more about that, probably after the after party, because it's going to be very interesting. Very. So.
Yeah, it certainly will. I kind of just want to jump forward and do that.
I know, right?
When I'd asked you the question for Jade about the moving in the new business, and I looked over, it showed that the button was muted. Somebody said that it was muted for a second, but I'm not sure if we missed the whole thing. Could you kind of reiterate on the reading that you had done for her about the moving and the new business for her spouse?
Yeah,
sorry about that.
It's a promotion, and then I see like that they're gonna probably still work together, but they're gonna be in different offices to where they're gonna put her somewhere else. But they will have like a promotion and be able to work together, but not see each other all the time. They're gonna keep them busy to where they don't work alone, because once you have a boyfriend and girlfriend working together, they are usually not productive because they're in the same room, and you know how that works. But yeah, so yes, I see a lot of promotion and a lot of progress with that.
And do you see anything about a move?
Yeah, I think they're going to probably get like an advancement, or they're probably going to move to somewhere else, but it's going to be like with the business. So they're still going to be working with the business, but it's going to be a lot of changes for them. So.
Nice. And PBR in the chat room for Spreaker was asking, have you been in a room with multiple apparitions?
With, the way I've been, I want to say yes. I want to say yes, very much so. So I've heard, I've always had stuff around me, so that's kind of just like something that I feel around me all the time. So yes. Offhand, I can't think of any, but I think there was some of them that I kind of felt like the gibbers when I walked in, but it wasn't like, I can't recall where it was, but there was one time that did feel kind of creepy, but it had like where I was like twitching a lot to where I just had goosebumps because I had like hair sticking up on the back, and then my spine was just like, it felt like I was being touched, by spirit, but it was just, but I've had occasions, but it doesn't really like, I didn't feel like threatened by it. It was just like they were just letting me know that they were there. So
yeah, and I muted myself. The question was for you guys that didn't hear it, Chris heard it, but walk through with the most goosebump and creepiest for Chris. So he covered that. I'm looking around to see if I have any other questions in the chat room. Jade just wanted to say thank you for her reading. She appreciates that. So what else has been going on in your life? How's your business going and your t-shirts and so on and so forth? I know you've been really busy on that home front.
Oh, that has been increased a lot too, just because I've been just like mailing them out. And I think she hasn't responded, but I had sent one to Rosemary, and I know she listens to your show, and I think you know her. She's like a good friend, but I got her a t-shirt, and I think she hopefully got it. But everybody else has gotten their t-shirt, and they told me that they will advertise it. So it's been kind of busy because I've been just mailing t-shirts like crazy. So it's kind of just like a constant thing. Like when somebody tells me, "Hey, well, what about my shirt?" And then like, so when they feel left out, I just tell them, I mean, you didn't ask, so how am I supposed to know? Because I know not everyone's going to wear a t-shirt.
Right.
That's why I don't, because some people prefer, handing business cards, and then there's others that say, you know what, I'm not too much of a t-shirt person. So yeah, so there's times where I want to ask people, but I just rather say, if they're interested, then they'll ask me, they'll tell me their size, and then I order it, and then it's being shipped to me, and then I make sure that I have the address, and then I ship it to them. So, but it's been pretty busy with the t-shirts. I tell you that much. It's been just very busy with my t-shirts, and then as far as like that, I've been doing like offline readings. I haven't really been too much on Facebook Live as much because I've been, like I told everybody, I needed a break from that, so I haven't really been on Facebook Live. But I'm still doing like personal readings off, Facebook Live. So I've been pretty busy and keeping my spirit up. And even though there might be something that I have my days where I'm a little bit down, but I just keep moving forward and just doing what I do to keep myself busy, because if I don't, I think I'm gonna go nuts.
Well, yeah, and it's good to keep the momentum because you don't want to lose like any progress you've made.
Yeah.
So even if it's at a slow pace, just keep it moving forward.
Yep, and it's crazy though, because I can tell you, I think what really got me that one night that we talked, I think it was just amazing that I was even in shock, about that validation. And I'm still kind of just freaking out about it, but it just gives you clarification that, when you get these premonitions, they are signs, they are messages. It's just that you gotta know how to perceive them. And sometimes some people just don't know how to perceive their premonitions. They remember them, but they don't know the meanings, And with me, I do know some meanings because I'm a good dream interpretation. I can do readings with dream interpretations and stuff like that. But when it comes to my own, I can't interpret my dreams. I just go with what I feel. So yeah.
Well, we got a call coming in, and had I known that you were just giving these away for advertisement, you should send me one. I don't know if you were selling them or what. I'll take one. I'll wear it.
Well, you got to tell me your size, Tessa, because I don't know your size. I never asked you because I don't ask. I really don't ask. But you just got to tell me your size, and then I'll get to you. But you got to get me your information, like on either through personal text message, or you can get me your information through the messenger.
Yeah, I'll definitely message you on that. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited now. I'm going to get a Chris Garcia t-shirt. We have a caller that's called in here from area code 360. Who are we talking to?
Hi, Tessa. It's Yvonne.
Aloha, Yvonne.
Hi. Let's see. Hey, Chris, when you gave me a private reading last year, you had mentioned that I traverse or go bouncing around through the fifth through the eighth dimension, and I was just wondering, well, what am I doing while I'm in those different dimensions? Do you recall?
I think in my mind, what I'm being told is that you're multiple tasking when you're doing this.
Okay.
In other words, you're doing a lot of healing and a lot of work on the other side when you're doing this.
So, like, am I doing it in that dimension, or am I like doing it to people on Earth?
Honestly, I'm being told that you do it in that dimension, but you're kind of in inner dimension, so you'll kind of be doing both. But you don't even know who you're doing it to, but you're doing it. Because once you go into the inner dimension, the people haven't given you confirmation that they've seen you. So until you get confirmations that they say, oh, well, you know what, I saw you last night and you were wearing this and you were in my house, and that's how you get the confirmation that they see you. So when you're doing interdimension, they're gonna see you, like, sometimes they'll see you as like an apparition, or they'll see you in solid, because that's happened to me where people have seen me kind of like between solid and kind of like between almost like a spirit. Yes, I've been able to do that, and I don't know how. Don't even ask me, because it just
and am I doing it? Yeah, am I doing it like only when I'm in a meditative state, and I'm asleep?
Honestly, I think you're doing it more when you're asleep. I don't think you're doing it. I don't think you're doing it when you're meditating. I think you do it more when you're asleep and you don't even know.
Okay. And then the other thing I'm asking when I'm multitasking, am I also going, is that when I also do like my crystal, I go into the crystal caverns and stuff, doing crystal grid work?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then this other third thing I wanted to ask, am I also meeting with beings or aliens?
Now, with aliens, I think if you do, you might see them like real quickly, but you won't. They won't reveal themselves as an alien. You will see them in a human form to kind of throw you off.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now, but they seem to be benevolent. They haven't bothered. I mean, what happens when I feel like I'm dealing, with some kind of being, and I don't know if it's a spiritual or alien. They're fine. Their energy seems okay to me. But there's things that I do know is that they put me through training experiences.
Yeah, I think they're gonna help you with what you're doing. I think they're gonna help you. But it's just a matter of timing of learning and having to work with them. And I do feel that you're gonna be doing a lot more of that. And I think you're doing it more when you're asleep. Now, you could probably be doing it in your meditation state, but for some reason, I don't feel like you're doing it in your meditation state. But you probably could. But the only thing different is that if you meditate, you'll be more into like a trance. You'll be
I do. Yeah, I do in some states of meditation. A person is. I go into a hypnotic state. You know what I mean? I'm totally gone. I mean, but yet I'm aware. But I go really deep. Is all I can say. And sometimes I come out too fast. And, I'm not quite all together, so to speak. So I have to be careful because I can fuse with things when I come back. You know what I mean? Yes. I mean, it's like I can, if I take a pot into my hand, me and the pot are one. I mean, I can't tell the difference between who's who, So anyway, but thank you for the clarification because I've been sensing that, you know what I mean? And sometimes, not often now, not like before, I do not get confirmation from people, which is fine because I told the spirit that I don't really have to know unless it's important for me to know. You know what I mean? For me, it's just, I'm happy if the task or what I'm, meant to intervene with is completed.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much for that clarification because I've been sensing it, but I just wanted confirmation that, that this is what is occurring.
Yes, and it is.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Chris.
You're welcome, and thank you for calling.
Take care.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Take care,
Happy
baby.
Mother's Day.
Oh, yes, I'm having a nice Mother's Day. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to say, speaking of that, too, Happy Mother's Day. I actually forgot because I've just been in my own little zone. But yeah, Happy Mother's Day to all the listeners that are moms. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been a good, lazy Mother's Day for me, for sure. So we have a couple more callers here. Oh, wow. And they just all popped off. Let me see. I know one was that's crazy. I had two on hold, and then they both just popped off at the same time. Let me see if I can add this one.
That's weird. That's weird, if you ask me.
Right? It's like you go to read them off, and then they're gone. Okay, I'm adding this one on real quick. And then another one's calling in.
Hello?
Hey, Daryl. We lost you.
Hey, so thanks for calling me back. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Daryl?
I'm holding up. I've had a lot of support from my friends, even my neighbor, and so much support from my friends on Facebook. I'm just overwhelmed. It's been really, really comforting,
Yeah, you've been in my thoughts a lot. I've been really worried about you, and I know this is a difficult time, but it's awesome that you do have an awesome support system there for you.
I'm just grateful for everything and anything right now. It's been really good, I have a few questions, if I could.
Go ahead.
You. I was wondering, is my mother okay? Is she comfortable? Is she happy? Is she with my dad?
Honestly, I'm being told that she is with your dad, and she has having a hard time to adjust to it.
Really?
But because I guess she felt like not to adjust to it, but in a way.
Hey, Chris.
Chris,
if you're walking
she
around,
knows that she left y'all behind. She knows that y'all kind of like miss her. But I think yes. Are you there?
It was hard to hear him.
Yeah, you were breaking up for a minute, so I was like, Chris, if you're wandering around, go back to your happy spot. But I could hear you good at the very end there.
Okay, well, sorry. What I was gonna say is that that I do feel that she is, like, she knows that you're hurting. So I'm being told that she is around you, and I'm getting like, in a way, I'm getting like this warm feeling in my stomach. So that's kind of like telling me to tell you that she's like around you right now. And she's telling me to tell you that she has her arm around you as you're calling in. So she knows that you miss her and that you're concerned for her. But I'm being told that she will guide you in what decisions that you're going to make. And you will see her in your dreams. And she's going to have messages for you. So I'm being told to get a journal.
Okay.
So you're going to be very, very in tune with her, and she's going to help you with whatever you're going through and whatever spiritual path. She's going to be one of your guides. So and I'm being told that she's very proud of you because she knows it's overwhelming, but you're handling the overwhelming very well. So she's just telling me to tell you that she's proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot for that. That's great.
You're welcome.
Is she okay now with her little secret or her big secret? And has her big secret landed her where she was hoping to be in wherever she is right now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was more like she couldn't talk about it when she was alive, but I think now that she will share her secret. I think she shared a few secrets before she had passed. She shared it with whoever was around her.
Well,
and then the ones that, and then whoever wasn't around her, she's going to relay the secret when she contacts you.
Right. Well, it would have been okay for her to tell me. I don't know why she didn't, but it's okay. I would have not rejected her or anything. I would have been very open-minded about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But one other question I wanted to ask. Okay, so she's with my dad, and is dad okay with her secret?
He's kind of like disappointed because he didn't know, but he's having to deal with it, and he's accepting it because on the other side it's kind of like more of the love and light. So
okay, it's incidental maybe.
Yeah, so it's more like a gentle thing.
Wow. Okay, I have two more questions. One is my sister going to contest her will?
What do you mean contest, to like fight it?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think she's going to change it. She's going to change it. Because I think it's like there's a lot of things that she's starting to be more observing. So she's starting to see who's around and who's not and who's appreciative of her. So she's going to change a few things. So yes, she is going to change.
She's talking about her sister regarding her mother's will because her mother just passed away last weekend.
Oh no, okay, well I'm thinking that some of the stuff she will change. Like the things that she can change, but if it's huge things like money and stuff, no. Just little minor things, yeah.
Well, she's been pretty eliminated. I just don't know if she's going to make my life difficult now.
Honestly, I think she does make your life difficult. I think you're going to be in a spot where you're going to get a lot of blessings. If she tries to make things harder for you to to survive, because of everybody that's left behind, to survive and pay bills and all that, I think you're going to be pretty well off. I mean, you shouldn't worry about that. You should be you should be dealing with the grieving and not be concerned about materialistic stuff. So
I really wasn't until she left me a little message tonight. So
right.
I wasn't going to worry about it.
But just don't worry about it, because you're in a nice spot right now. You might not see it in a way because you're having like overwhelming this feeling, and you know that your sister's going to try to change things. But don't worry about that, because God sees what's being done, and things will be better for you.
Right. This is like not related at all. There's two things. One is I don't know if you can identify what the explosions I've been hearing, or maybe in general, maybe people have been hearing, but I've been hearing them like every night in New York. I don't know what's blowing up or where.
Honestly, that's not nothing blowing up. That's something that's like interdimensional. Like they're having a spiritual battle, and you happen to tap into it.
Oh, God. I hope they make up.
Because because you can even go look. I'm being told to tell you to go look when you hear these noises. Like a little bit after you stop hearing them, go look outside and see if you see any like bombs, or if you see any gun,
right.
Or if you see any like bullets or anything like that. And you're gonna see that what I tell you, that you're just tapping into inner dimension battles that they're battling, but it's more in the spiritual thing that you're able to tap into it. And trust me, I've had that happen to me too a couple times, where on one of the shows that I was on with Tessa, we heard this loud bang, and the next day I went to go look outside just to make sure that I wasn't hearing things. I checked; there was no indication of a big rock or something being thrown in my window or my wall. So that tells you that there is dimensions that they do have battles. So it's just that you're tapping into it.
Wow, and we can hear them sometimes.
Yeah, yes, I hear them all the time.
You do?
Yes, and sometimes I'll hear like chanting, singing, drumming. I'm very in tune with my ancestors, because I have a history of different past life, but I'm not going into who I was in the past life. Just put it this way. My mother in that past life, she was feared. Okay? She was well respected. I come from a family in that past life that I took on the family, the secret, and a lot of people were afraid of me in that past life because I was very powerful, and I'm not going into who I was, because if I do that, people are going to be like, oh God, really? I mean, there's people that know who I am, because I've shared that on Facebook Live, but I was told not to share that anymore, because that's very, very, very private. And as a matter of fact, I have there's a connection there. But maybe if once you get to know me, and if you add me on Facebook, I can give you more details of who I was, because I won't talk about that on the air.
Okay, I respect that. And I do have one more kind of silly question, but I was gifted an anti-alien abduction helmet by somebody, and he told me to be very careful with it, and to keep it within my reach, and be very careful where I put it, and if I lose it, it might be because they took it. Well, I can't find it, and I don't have the heart to tell him. But
no,
I don't know what to do. Did the aliens take my helmet?
Honestly, when things come out of misplaced, spirits can do that, and aliens, since they're very high frequency, I want to tell you that yes, they did take it. They moved it in a different location. It's just that you got to be able to find it. Now, if you don't find it and you looked everywhere, then it's because they have it in their possession.
He said they could steal it from you if you don't.
Yes. And that's what spirits can do. A lot of people don't believe that, but spirits have if they're real good and they've been there for many, many years, they can move things. Like, say, for instance, if they want to take something off like if you have a ring
Right.
They can take it off your hand and they'll take it with them.
Wow.
So they can take physical things, but it takes a lot of energy to do that.
Yeah, I'm often finding myself nicely asking, "Can you please put that back?" And if I walk away and come back, it'll be right where I left it. But otherwise, I'm sitting there looking all day and all night for this thing, and I'll never find it.
Oh God, good luck, Tess.
Yeah, and there's a few things that I lost too. That it was not something that it was important, but it was like a wristband, and I had it, and it had like I forgot what it used to call the Happy Bunny. I don't know if y'all remember that, the Happy Bunny thing, because I was all into the Happy Bunny. I don't know why. Don't even ask.
Right.
But I had a wristband, and I had it, and I remember putting it in the washer. In the washer, and then I put it in the dryer, and guess what? That thing had legs. I don't know where it's at, and I still do not know where it's at. And somebody had told me that it was in a box that they described to a T, and I looked in that box, and it's not there. So it's like, I feel like something took it. I don't know for what reason. Maybe the spirits were into that kind of thing, because spirits are into things. So if they want a jewelry or a watch that that they didn't have a chance to wear, when they were buried or whatever, they can take it. But they have used a lot of energy for that.
And I hate to interrupt, but on that note, we have to go to our first break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live, and we're always interactive with you. So join us at spacedoutradio.com, where together, we own the night.
Hey, guess what? You can now get your brand new Spaced Out Radio swag at spacedoutradio.com. We've brought the store back with all new items for you to pick out and pick up for yourself, your family, or friends. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, we got it all. All you have to do is head to our website and click on Store. Choose what you want and it's shipped to you. The Spaced Out Radio store is right there for you. Come shop with us at spacedoutradio.com. Then we can own the night together.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
If you're heading to Vancouver, make sure you stop by the official bar of Spaced Out Radio, the Moose Vancouver. It's the place to party in YVR. At the corner of Nelson and Granville, the Moose Vancouver is always up to speed with a kitchen staff that serves great food. All food on the menu, $6.95 to $8.95. There's a reason the Moose Vancouver is recognized as one of the hottest spots on the West Coast. Get your horns up for the Moose Vancouver. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch. Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You can follow Tessa on Twitter at TessaTNT, on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio, and our website is spacedoutradio.com. Now, back to Spaced Out Weekend host, Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Here's a sound again, voices dancing in my head, smile wide, drowning slowly as the echoes rise.
Hey guys, welcome back, and thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Tonight is my 1-year anniversary for being weekend host on Spaced Out Radio, and I'm so honored to be joined by one of my most favorite guests, Psychic Chris Garcia. Chris, welcome back. It's so great to have you.
Yeah, thank you, Tess, as always, and I'm glad to be on. And it's, I am glad that we had a chance that you messaged me before that date, and I hope that, I'm not going to talk about that, but we'll talk more about that later. Just message me, and I'll tell you more about that stuff later on.
Alrighty. So we had left off with Daryl. Were you guys able to finish that reading? We can move on to the next one, or where are we at?
Yeah. We're just talking, but yeah, she's done. But she just said thank you, and I was just telling her what was going on, and she's like, "Oh my God!" I said, "Yeah, it's just that I'm starting to realize who my true friends are." So, but I hope I helped you with the questions that you asked, and we'll keep in touch.
If I could return the favor in any way, just shout my name and I'll be there.
Okay, and I appreciate it.
You got it.
And God bless you. You have a good night.
Good night. God bless you too. Thank you.
Have a good night, Daryl.
Bye, Chris.
Love and light, Daryl, and lots of healing thoughts and energy to you and the process you're going through right now. I know it's very difficult.
You've been great too, Tess. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much.
And our next caller is Mr. Christopher. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Going all right. I would like to share with you what happened a couple nights ago.
I would love to hear that.
Go ahead,
Chris. It's pretty spectacular.
Okay, go ahead.
Our house is now haunted.
Oh, wow.
And what's interesting is also, you know, the usual healing period that we're not supposed to contact the dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
My mother still kept in contact with me even through that period, but no one else.
Oh, wow.
And she ended her healing period a couple nights ago. She threw her favorite fry grill out of the cabinet.
Wow.
It woke everybody else. Woke everybody up in the house. And I was already up talking to my friends on Twitter, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It took them like a couple days to process the implications. I went down there and took a look, and I had you were probably asleep by then. It was like 2:00 in the morning.
Wow.
And,
wow.
And I could go find someone, a medium, really fast to make sure it was her.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what's so funny? I'm going to tell you what happened with you. Okay, I know that.
Okay.
I know that you're still grieving because you're kind of grieving, but I know that you just lost your mom. It's been a while already, but I'm being told to tell you, that when she passed, there was like almost like a portal, like a dimension of crossing over, and in between there was something that I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm just being told to tell you that it kind of like when she crossed into the light, whatever was the positive of all that beautiful love of God and stuff, she gave you more of a blessing when she crossed into the light, and now you're going to be getting more messages from her, not just from her, but from your ancestors, and you're going to receive a lot more blessings because it's knowing that it's a big loss, but it's not really that you lost her because she's still with you. So I'm just being told to tell you that you have a lot more light and love. So I'm being told to tell you that you're going to be receiving more things than you did before. You think that you had all those dreams that you had that were amazing. I'm being told to tell you that you haven't seen nothing yet. That's what I'm told to tell you. You haven't seen nothing yet.
I'm ready. I'm curious, why did she let me continue to keep in touch with her with uninterrupted?
That, I guess, is just that she's going to help you. I don't know. I guess it's just that she's meant to help you and to learn more about your ancestors. And I do feel that she's going to help you. She's going to guide you in where you're supposed to go, where, stuff like that.
You and another friend, Chuck Thurston, knew something was up a week before everybody else. Something was going on. It seemed like it was weird how you contacted me. You waved to me. on Facebook. And then a couple nights afterwards, Chuck Thurston, an old friend of mine that's also a clairvoyant and stuff, he told me to watch out. And it was weird. She kept you guys on throughout the no contact period. It just us three. We were allowed to have access, but up until that throwing of pots and pans, nobody else in the family had that access. It's just us three that knew what was going on.
Wow. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, too, I told Tessa what I said before, at the beginning of the show, that there's validation to that premonition I had, and you're one of them too that actually said to be careful, and it's just crazy, you know. It's weird, but it just tells you that there's a very strong vibration to messages that you just sometimes you don't know how to perceive or intervene with those. It just kind of makes you think that it's amazing how the loved ones can tell you what they need to tell you on the other side. It just really makes you appreciate things.
I'm also curious, since you saw the assassination of one of my relatives, did you see the whole thing?
Yes.
Did you see even when he survived afterwards for a few hours? Did you see the whole, even with Oswald and all that? You saw the whole thing in the vision?
Yeah.
I was really worried about you afterwards because it was pretty bad, and not very many people in the public know the whole sequence. And I was worried about you. Did you see that? I was asking if you were okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
I guess the ghost box was right. I need to accept the fact I'm a Marquis. I'm a Marquis son.
Yeah.
That's the closest to royalty you can get in America, that family.
Yeah.
A few years back, one of their descendants died. I never met him, but it tore me up so bad. Theodore? You remember him, right?
Yeah,
Teddy?
It really tore me up. And I never met him.
That can happen sometimes.
So, I guess my subconscious knew who he was and the others. And now I know. That's strange, isn't it?
So that's pretty awesome, the experience you shared with us about your mom. Have you been seeing her in your dreams or anything else like that? Or is that one of the main ways that she's... what has she been able to tell you?
Dreams, and also in conscious mode.
Yeah,
like the throwing of the pots and stuff.
Yeah.
It was hilarious watching my family members just really run down the steps, figuring out what was going on.
Yeah.
I almost laughed. I almost laughed because I know about this stuff, being with the psychics for so many years.
Right.
Yep.
I just sat there and just chuckled.
Well, did you have hold on, let me make sure I'm not muted. Okay, good. Did you have any more questions or anything else for Chris before we go? Because we do have another caller that just came in.
Okay, one more. I'm curious, since you now had a vision of one of my long past relatives. Do you think I'd meet any of them in the future on that side?
Yes, you will. You will meet them. It's just when it's time for you to go, you're going to see them. They're going to come and get you when it's that time.
whether I'm dead or alive.
When it's time when you're already near that death state, they're going to be there right by you to take you with your arms to walk you into the light.
Wow. Wow. Well, I have to thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
Like, even though I'm grieving, I'm not sad anymore. It's like I know. I just know.
You're welcome.
I hope you have a good night.
You too.
Thanks
God
so
bless
much
you.
for calling in, Chris. It was great to hear from you.
God bless you too.
Thank you. Bye. Hello?
Bye-bye. And for our callers that are on the line, if you could just put your mic on mute for a minute until we get to your area code. We'll call you out, and you'll be the next person for a reading. But right now we do have a question from the chat room, and it comes from Donna Colvin. And she was wondering, will she be moving soon?
I want to say, for some reason, that's going to be a little bit delayed, but it's gonna happen. It's just going to be not when she expects it. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Okay. And then the next one was from PBR, and he was asking, have you ever encountered or been afraid of Pazuzu?
No.
All right. I'm just making sure my stuff is unmuted. It's been a year. I should not be muted. Our next caller comes from area code 425. Who are we talking to?
You're talking to Robin.
Hey, Sir Robin.
So my question for Chris is that I started making changes in my life for the more positive, and the ones that I just wanted to know the way I'm going at it, is it the right way?
I want to say that you're going with the right decision of what you're doing. Just take some time and just having to deal with it. So.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sir Robin. Have a good night.
You too.
You too. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
And our next caller is area code 203. Who are we talking to?
Hey, how you doing, Michael?
Hey, Michael.
Hi, how you doing? So, thing is, it's kind of like almost the same way how he's feeling. It's just that I just want to know if I'm going to develop or push forward in any way, how to do career-wise, you know? It's kind of shady right now in my case, because right now it's like a whole decision. But I just got to know everything's good, if it is. I mean, you know, life's always full of surprises.
Honestly, I think you're gonna do good coping with stuff. I think you're gonna you're gonna tap into your own, and then you're gonna develop a lot of things, and you will be helping more people. It's just that you just gotta heal inner healing, and then from there you're gonna see a lot of different things coming your way.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And have a beautiful day, Chris.
You too.
Thanks, Michael. Have a good night. All right. And I know we got a few more in here. PBR is continually asking questions. One of them was, when will I see the pale horse?
What is that? I've never heard of that.
Is that like the bringer of death or something? I'd have to Google that.
Honestly, I've never heard of that, but I'm just being told to tell you that's a slight chance, but there is a possibility that you will meet, but it's not going to be in this realm. You will be able to see things going into like the records and seeing what you can look up on and research up on it. But as far as like reading, I don't know about that. I mean, I've never heard of that. That's something totally new for me. But I guess then again, you learn something every night, so it's very interesting.
Yes, you learn something new every day. PBR was also wondering, Chris, do you have garlic around your doors or anywhere in your house for protection?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That would be just for protection from anything evil, demonic, or entities of any of that, or anything being thrown at me. So I have different stuff for protection. It's not just that, but I have also bells. I have them by my door. Some people don't know about that, but I didn't know. But I researched it, and I knew that they existed. I just had to like look them up, and I have them by my door. They're actually very interesting. You can get it on some certain sites. You just put witch bells, and it goes back into the 1800s. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can learn that I already kind of knew, but it was just I was being told like more about it, and I'm like thinking, wow, they still use these things. So
yeah, and there's so many different things out there that you can use, and crystals, different herbs and spices, so many different things. What are some of the main things that you do use for protection, Chris? Dealing with spirits and such on a daily basis.
Well, me, I always have like different protection things on my neck, like different types of stuff. And then I have like a certain ring that I have on my finger. I have that for protection. Different things that have symbolic, like the evil eye bracelet. I have that and stuff like that. So yes, I have a lot of stuff.
That's
sorry,
awesome.
guys.
Are you parched?
I'm sorry. I had to take a little zip because I got thirsty.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I used to mostly just use prayer and such through the years because you use basically what you're, taught as you're raised. And then my mentor taught me so much about different stones and different energy tools that you can use to protect yourself. And like you said, we're continuing learning and learning new things every day. So it's cool how we kind of adapt and overcome and learn new trades and new things that we do have faith in to protect us. Like I carry tourmaline on me, selenite, amethyst, and then generally I have a cross on, but I took that off today for certain reasons. But yeah, it's cool how we use these different things in prayer as well, but it's very important to have faith in these things. Do you find that to be true?
Yes, I think it's very important to have faith in what you're using. Not only that, but you can put your intentions, depending if it's a certain type of ring, you put your intentions when you buy it. You just have clear thoughts of what you want with it. You can also use it to manifest things, to open things up for you. So there's many different things you can do as when you buy the item. There's actually even a good thing that you can buy. People can look this up. It's a regular cross, but it's called a St. Peter cross. It's got, of course, the symbol of God in the front. And then on the back, it's got St. Peter with a key. And he was the one that would unlock the doors to opportunities, blessings, open roads. He's actually a saint you can use. He goes in different, he's used in different, like the religion. He's St. Peter. But in other different religions, he's known as different Loas and different things. So,
yeah, that's awesome. And I generally wear the Saint Michael medallion. A friend of mine was going to send me another one, and it might be the one that you just mentioned, the St. Peter medallion. It's used a lot in doing exorcisms and such, or protecting yourself from such things, and I still haven't received it. So I messaged them. I'm like, hey, did you send that to the right address? And I still haven't heard anything back. So hopefully it didn't go and get lost in the mail.
Yeah, because there's different things, and that's one thing I've always said. You can always use the same protection, like certain necklaces. But sometimes you have certain days that you might say, you know what, I'm not going to wear this cross armor. I'm going to wear this other pentacle, or it just depends on what your preference is. It's always good to change things up or add something and then take something out, because when you're being guided to wear something and you wear something like a bracelet that always protects you, and then one day you hear it, take it off, and you're like, why? Well, your guides are telling you for a reason, because they see what is coming at you. They can see it. So that's how I know. So I've had times where I've always gotten stuff like that. So
Donna was just reiterating on the reading that you had given her, and she said, thank you, and it does make sense, and she's waiting on the money to move on. So thanks for that awesome reading for her.
Yep.
Let's see.
I'm surprised tonight's been kind of slow. I guess everybody's probably going to sleep. Everybody's in a different time. Some people.
Probably a full day of pampering moms or thinking of moms that we've lost and passed awesome memories of that. And, generally on holidays like this, we overeat. And I did have to catch a nap earlier today.
I did too, because I was tired. I said, I got a show to do, because I was thinking, because I was tired, and we had gone to my aunt's for a while. But we had gone to the cemetery, I think it was last week or something, to pay respect from my grandma, because I did a show on her anniversary. So it was very emotional for me.
Aww.
So it was her anniversary is on May the 7th, so that was 3 days before Mother's Day. It was kind of emotional, but there was people calling in to, on that show, but it was very touching, because you'll never guess. And a lot of people don't know they're listening, but my mom was listening to the show. She didn't tell me afterwards so my mom was listening, and after the show was done, she cried and hugged me, and she says, oh my God, she goes, I'm so proud of you. She goes,
aww.
And so it was kind of like very emotional for me that, she hugged me, and she even told me, she goes, it does not sound like you. You talk different when you're on shows. Your vibration is very, very high.
And was that this show, or was this a different show?
No, it was a different show. She was listening.
Okay.
And she said that she couldn't believe it was me. She was like, God, he talks different. So, and then she told me, she was, I know your grandma's probably crying of happy tears because you did a tribute to her. And then it was weird, because that day I picked it, because I had told my friend, she was, what days do you want? And she told me what days she had available. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do this anniversary for my grandma, a show on her day. And I did. And it was just very touching. And during from the 7th to the 10th, we were in that, we were remembering that we were grieving. And even now, it's even grieving too, because we don't have her with us. But I know she's still with me, but it's just in a different form. But yeah, it was just an honor of, doing it. And honestly, that's probably why I'm kind of a little emotional right now. But it's just the fact that I know, I didn't lose her totally, because to have her as a guide, it's the best thing that I can have, because I guess maybe she wanted to be my guide when she crossed over. I mean, because they have multiple options, and I guess, like she had told my mom, she was, I'm not going to leave him when I'm alive, and I'm not leaving him in death, because that's what she told her. She was, I'm going to watch over him.
That's so awesome.
So that's an honor. It really is.
It really is. And when you do get overly emotional, or you feel all these extra emotions and you're like, wow, where's this coming from? A lot of times it's a sign of their spiritual energy being there, because it can choke you up. Just feeling that love and that enlightenment and such, because it is so pure over there, it does kind of choke you up and make you want to cry. And, sometimes you don't even know why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just get so emotional, because me being an empath, it hits me even harder because of my gift. So I feel more than what a normal person would feel. So it is amazing. It really is.
And we were talking about different things we use for protection, and Sir Robin was asking don't you use bells? And I do. I actually have bells on the door of my studio here, on my front door, on my bedroom door. Basically all the doors in our house, except for the cabinet doors. That'd be kind of overkill. But it does change the vibration in your house to a more positive vibration. Do you use bells in your house, Chris?
Yes, I have them in my room, as a matter of fact. So I'm protected. I mean, I'm probably gonna get some more because lately I've been thinking about ordering more. But those are very, very interesting because what happens is when you open a door, they hit each other. So every time you hear that ding or bing, however it sounds, that's a frequency of vibration that is protecting you from anything negative. That if somebody comes in and they have, like, say, a bad intention, oh, I can't stand him, I wish him harm, or I wish him ill fortune, or I wish him to be sick or whatever, it takes that vibration and that inner thought of that other person and it bounces it off. Yep. So.
That's awesome. Sharon Bowles was asking, does Chris have anything from her guides they need to tell her? Please and thank you.
From her guides?
Yes.
Honestly, I was just being told to say, I'm getting like a little pain somewhere. I'm being told that you need to go get checked if you're concerned about something. And I'm being told to say to follow your instincts because there's something with that. So there's something going on. So I think I would just suggest pay attention to what your inner self is saying. I mean, you might think you're talking to yourself or you might hear voices, but you'll know when it's angelic. You'll just know. So that's what I'm being told to tell you, is just follow the angelic vibration that you feel when you feel it. If it feels like more like kind of down or kind of depressing feeling, don't pay attention to that. That's more like an entity or something that's just putting bad thoughts in your head that you're not worthy or anything like that. So you just got to keep yourself at a very high vibration. Try to bounce it off. Try to keep yourself busy. Don't stay in one spot and just be very active.
PBR came back and reiterated, earlier we were talking about the pale horse, and I'm kind of excited because I'm like, wow, I thought, earlier I said the bringer of death, but then I wasn't quite sure, but he said, and this is like a quote, I looked and there was a pale horse, its rider was named Death, and hell rode with him. So that's what he was talking about when he asked if he would see the pale horse.
Well, I've never heard of it, like I said, but I'm thinking that if he's connected to it, I think there's something with it, so he needs to probably research it. I don't really know too much about that, so I don't want to give him a wrong or right answer. I would just say just to research it, and then you'll probably answer your own question when you find out what it is. I've heard about the movie The Headless Horseman, but I don't know if that's something related to what he asked. I think it's just certain people would be able to see it, I guess, if they're doing something bad, they would come for the person's soul. Because there is legends about different things like that. So you would probably have to figure out what that is when you look it up.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you hear of horse and horsemen, I think of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and different things along those lines. But yeah, there's different variations of horses throughout our history or mythology or religion or whatnot. So it's pretty interesting to hear different people's thoughts and input on certain things. Nikki was saying, Chris, I have certain types of bells throughout my home, but have never known why. It's been an intense, important intuition. Have never really thought about why. Thanks for the information and name which bells. She'll start researching the info.
Yeah, and it's very interesting too, because if you have bells, there's a reason. You can even have one where you can attach maybe like 2 bells, and I'm being told to say this. I don't know why. Maybe it's for her. Get a string. It can be like a fishing string. Get 2 bells. Hang it above the door. I don't know why, but I'm hearing like above the door. And then when the door opens, it's going to hit the bells and it's going to send that vibration out, I guess, because of the negativity or something. So I'm being told to tell her that. I don't know if that's just for her, but I'm being told whoever else is listening, try that. And that might just work. And that could do it. You can do that at the entrance of the door. So.
And here in the chat room, PBR followed up with the Four Horsemen, which I just mentioned as well. Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So I believe that's who he was talking about. Ron in the chat room, he said one of his biggest life mistakes, not following a gut feeling, which is so true. We have that gut instinct for a reason. The best thing to do is to listen to it because it is for our own protection. What are your thoughts on gut instincts and feelings, Chris?
Me, I deal with that day in, so it just comes naturally to me. It's like I have a radar for an antenna to perceive stuff. And as a matter of fact, as I'm doing the show, I feel like this weird feeling in my stomach. I don't know what that's about. I probably won't find out until the end of the show. But I just got this weird feelings in my stomach. It's like knots, so that's kind of just weird. But that could be like a feeling of something, or I'm probably going to receive something later, like a message. So it's going to be kind of interesting what I find out. But I'm just feeling kind of weird right now, so y'all have to excuse me. But I'm still doing the show. It's just like that's something with the question, gut feeling. It's just something that you feel. But sometimes what's so weird about us psychics or mediums, some of us, no matter how good you are, it's always good to get validation. It's always good. I mean, some people say that they don't need validation, but my perception of that, I would say you do need a validation, because sometimes when you don't know if you're like lost or if you don't feel like you're on the right track. And then sometimes you start hearing these inner voices that say, oh, they don't love you, you're better off dead. You'll start hearing those voices, and trust me, I've heard that stuff many numbers of times. So when you get these confirmations of people calling in or just stuff like that, you need that validation that you're on the right track with your path. And that doesn't always have to be for a psychic or medium. It can be for a paranormal investigator too. If they want to do an investigation on a haunted place and they're like, well, we have claims of this, and if a paranormal investigator has an experience, they need to confirm with other past people that have been in that location to get that validation. So that's very important, I want to say, in the paranormal field and in the metaphysical field. So that's very important. That, to me, is very important.
Yeah, I think it's important to all of us being spiritual beings, having a human experience, to listen to that instinct, because it will take us a long ways, and it will help us to adapt and to move beyond places where a lot of people just kind of get stuck. But yeah, it's very important to listen to your gut instinct. It's there for your protection and for your use, and to keep you from being used and abused. It's a very, very important tool to use in your life on so many different levels.
Yes.
And then we got some of our pranksters in the chat room, which I love because I love to laugh. It's the best medicine in the world. But Mooney was saying the fifth horseman was disco, and Robin saying the sixth was kung fu fighting. Yeah, these guys crack me up.
I tell you, they just make you laugh, and that's good, because right now I could use the humor, because there's a lot of stuff that I hear sometimes, and I know people are going to say just let it go, but sometimes I have my days where I'm just like in the zone, but then I have these thoughts, and I'm just like, get away from me, like. But I've been doing like spiritual cleansings on myself. I had my mom pray over me too, because it's just, I don't know, it's just, you can feel like when you have success, I just feel like you have so much hate towards you, because sometimes when you have some good things happening to you and it's happening not to others, they have this rage of envy and jealousy. And jealousy and that is not a good thing because that's of darkness. So if you have any remorse or any anger towards somebody, you need to let it out. If it even takes you to cry to heal your soul, do what you got to do. Because I've even had sometimes where I've had to let certain inner emotions out. So, yeah.
Like you were saying before about how you get these different thoughts and these different messages that are negative and they're not things that you would generally think. And a lot of times it's because you are on the right path. You're doing good. You're trying to help people. And there's certain things out there, whether it's humans or entities or whatnot, that don't like that. They don't want you to prevail and persevere and continue to help these people and help not only yourself, but these people move above and beyond. And so they tell you things to try to take you aback, to even hurt yourself or to take your own life to where you can't help people anymore. So it's important to not listen to those voices and to ignore them and listen to your gut and keep moving on. Like we said earlier, even the smallest little tiny movement forward is better than sitting stagnant and letting all your gifts and all the work that you've done kind of fall aside.
Yep. Yeah,
So
very true.
We have a caller from area code 206. Who are we talking to?
Hi, guys. It's Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, girl.
Hi, Tessa. Hey, Chris. How you doing?
Girl, well, I don't know if you heard the whole show, but remember that dream I had?
Yes.
I just got validation for you, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, when you were talking validation, that's the whole reason why I'm calling.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead. How can I help you tonight?
Well, I was on a Skywatch last night, and I don't necessarily want certain things publicized about it, but I want to know if I'm right about the water. And your grandmother should know what I'm talking about because I kind of asked about it before I called. So I'm hoping the word would have gotten passed between my spirit guides and yours.
Honestly, well, there's a story about water, and it's something that's not good. I can't discuss that. If I think I'm on the right.
If I think you're probably hitting the right one, it would be underwater, and I just want to know if I'm correct.
Honestly, if I'm on the right perception of what I'm feeling, I want to say yes. I'm being told yes.
Damn. Ooh, sorry, Tessa. Sorry.
Oh, you can say damn and ass and other things like that. You just can't say the SH word or the F word or, but you can say damn and ass and you're good.
Chris, I was hoping I was wrong. I was really hoping I was wrong. Thank you, though, for the validation.
But there's other stuff, too, about the water, too. Like, I remember watching a paranormal show, and they said, a paranormal investigator said this, that sometimes bad entities come from the water. That's kind of interesting, but we're going to talk about that after the show, because that's just something that's very intriguing with me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
we can
kind
talk
of
about
just
that here as well, because this is not only a call-in show for free readings, but it's the 1-year anniversary and just hanging out with you guys and kicking stuff like this around that I love to hear about and talk about.
Yeah, because I've heard stories that, I'm not saying anything specifically, but I've heard that some demonic demons come from the water. I don't know how that is even possible, because I know that water is an earth element. But I guess there's something that we don't know, which I don't tap into that lower vibration because I know that people that the only ones that would probably do that would probably be demonologists. But I've heard stories that they do have that vibration, and I think there's certain locations that they state more to. And oh my God, I'm getting chills just even talking about this. But I just will tell you. I'm just being told to say not very much. I'm just going to make it short and quick. That sometimes they're near the rocks and the shoreline. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, that also does some validation too. I was still hoping I was wrong. Okay. It's good to know that my abilities are right on that, But when you're really hoping you're wrong because you know how bad the info is.
Right.
And
you don't want it to be true.
and it's funny, I'm glad you called in, because like I was saying, no matter how good you are, even the most famous psychic, we all need validation, because sometimes validation is what keeps us on the right path. If you don't hear validations as much, it kind of makes you kind of question your gifts. So when you get validation, it gives you boom, like, oh crap, wow, I'm on the right one. So when you hear that, that's when you don't question your abilities. But it's not the, I guess I don't want to say it's inner ego. It could be inner ego, because you don't want the inner ego to affect you. But I guess it's just that you need to hear validation. So I'm glad that you called in, and I'm glad that I, can help you, and I'm glad I gave you validation to other questions. So thank you for calling.
No, I appreciate it. I'll talk to you later, Chris. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Nikki.
Bye.
It was so great to hear from you.
That just blows my mind too, because when I told her about the rocks and shoreline, she's like, "Oh wow, that just validated something else." See, so you hear more things, it validates stories, and not just stories, but there's feelings. And it's funny because as I'm talking about it, I'm getting this twitching feeling over me. So I'm thinking I'm not going to talk about that anymore, because I think they know that we're talking about them. So I'm not going to mess with that realm. So, anyways.
Yeah, and it's always good to get that validation, because a lot of times, too, we wonder, well, are we trying to deceive ourselves when we're giving ourselves information? Giving it to other people, it just comes so naturally to us. We know that it's real, it's true, so we let it go. But when it comes to ourselves, it's kind of like, okay, am I deceiving myself? Is this right? And it's good to get that validation. Excuse me. Jade in the chat room was wondering if she should pursue mediumship and doing readings for people. She's been wondering for quite a while about this, and if she really has enough ability.
I'm being told to tell her, follow what your heart tells you. I think that's what the good question of validation. I think once you start practicing on loved ones, you can practice on neighbors if you want. You have to confine in someone that doesn't think you're weird or crazy. You can practice on people, but you gotta ask them permission to enter their energy field, because not everyone wants to be read without permission.
Right.
And there's people that you need to ask before you read. So if you ask them and say, you know what, can I do a reading for you? And then if you come across a person that says, I don't believe in that stuff, well, then that already answers your question. That means the answer is no. So if a person is very spiritual and you have spiritual friends, then they'll probably say yes. But if it's a person that says right away, that says, well, I don't believe in that, that's already telling you right there. You don't go beyond that. You just respect them, and you just say, God bless you, and walk away. And that's all you can do.
So true. Mooney, a.k.a. Kevin McDougall, asked, Chris, I am looking to buy an item. And I was just thinking, it's funny, some people are just like, I have this really important question, and it's like kind of like life and death, and he's got a question about an item he wants to purchase, which is a really big thing for some of us as well, because money's tight, times are hard. So he's looking to buy an item. He's having difficulty choosing between the two different models. One is blue, the other is black. They are quite different. Do you get a vibe of which one might be best for him?
Hold on, I'm going to see if I can concentrate more, because I don't like to. Hold on. For some reason, they're both different. I would say check up on the features, functions, to do what your needs. Okay. And then second thing, for some reason I heard, like, I kept hearing like black. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I just heard black. So it was kind of close, because it's because I heard like black and then I heard blue, but I'm thinking, I guess it's because he's undecided, so his energy is kind of like, he wants both, but money's tight. So I would just say go with what feels right and do your research on the functions of whatever item, what thing, what the other one has that the other one doesn't have. So I would say to just look at what has more things that you can do with it, and then that gives you the answer.
Yeah, it's funny. I kept picking up on black as well. PBR was asking, and this is going back to the Pale Horse. He's asking, when will I confront death? And just so you guys know, this is for entertainment purposes only. But if you pick up on anything on that, Chris, as far as when will PBR confront death, that'd be great.
Confront death. Oh, I think it's when it's that time for you to go. Because I'm being told to tell you that, I don't know why, but I don't know this person, maybe I do, but I'm being told that he has a lot of, I keep hearing like the word doubt, very curious about death. That's what I'm getting from him. And then I'm getting like bad thoughts, which I'm not going to discuss that on the air, but I'm getting like, you get these thoughts of like you want to do something to yourself, like something bad. And I'm not going to discuss, what I mean, but I'm pretty sure if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. And with confronting death, I guess the bigger answer to that is when God is ready to take you, that's when you're going to confront in death. Because I think you're pursuing something that you shouldn't be messing with. Because that is not something, we all are sometimes are curious about death, but sometimes when you are very curious about that, sometimes it means that you might be at a vibration that you shouldn't be, because there could be something that's intertwining with your energy or just trying to make you do something dumb. Or I don't want to say stupid, but that's just something that I heard. So I'm just being told to be very careful with what you're asking, because sometimes what they say, you ask and you shall receive. And that is a true statement. So just be careful with what you wish for.
Right. GJ Black was asking for a reading and said, since it's Mother's Day, anything from his mom. I do miss her. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, what's the name again?
It's an initial, basically, GJ Black, and there's no profile pic, so it's kind of hard to pick up on. And when I said he, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I might be wrong. I think this might be a female.
Honestly,
but not certain.
The only thing I can get from that would be... Okay, what was the question? I wanted to say, make sure I heard the question right.
The question was... Here, let me scroll up here a little bit. I'm basically wondering, since it's Mother's Day, anything from Mom? Do miss her, and thank you.
The only message I get is you're on the right path. And then I'm hearing mother like daughter. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And I'm getting a lot of like hugs, and I'm getting like tears of joy, because she knows that you miss her dearly. And it's just so hard to communicate with them on the other side sometimes, because the vibration is very high. But I'm just being told to tell you to send you light and love and prayer, and you will receive your answer within 2 to 3 days of, because I do feel that she's going to come, because this course is Mother's Day weekend, but she will come through. So I'm being told to pay attention to anything that's a little off or seems kind of out of the ordinary.
And it is so hard going through a holiday like this, Mother's Day or Father's Day, when, you don't have one or the other or either, which is where I'm at. It's kind of hard on these holidays, missing them, but it's good to look back at the memories and do things that they would have loved to do. Make the food that they would have liked to eat. Sit around and be lazy and watch movies they would have liked to watch. You know, there's so many different things that you can do to honor the person that you love and you miss that is no longer with us. But that's so awesome. Thank you so much for doing that, Chris.
You're welcome.
All right. Moving right along here in the chat room. Are there any thoughts that you have on that as far as somebody missing a loved one on the holidays, whether it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, or, you know, Christmas or Thanksgiving when we have family members that are no longer there? What are your thoughts on ways to honor them?
I would say just do things that, like if you're a person that's very religious or a person that's very spiritual, you can do offerings, or you can do things that they used to drink. You can do like print a picture of them and maybe light a plain white candle and do like open a beer if they like a beer. You can, I guess, either leave the beer cup there or you can put in a cup and just let the beer go all the way to the top, and then you'll start noticing it'll dissolve. So that's energy absorbing whatever offerings you're giving them. You can like flowers, things that they light, and you can do it that way. You can even give them crystals too. I mean, that's not an offering. That's just to protect your energy, you know, to make sure there's good communication. There's nothing that's intervening with the energy with that. And the only thing too that you can also do, I guess I just say just go pay a visit to them at the cemetery and talk to them too. But make sure you do it during the day, not during the night. And I'm just being told to tell you that just make sure that you honor them and respect them. And you can do, like, there's a lot of different things. Those are just ideas. Me, because I do idea. I pray to my grandma all the time, and I ask for her guidance, but she tells me what I need to do.
Well, on that note, Chris, I do have to interrupt you because we do have to go to our second break. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology: Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rockin'. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot THAL. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at spacedoutradio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Sit back, relax,
grab a drink, and listen closely. Spaced Out Radio continues through the weekend. From the mile-high mountains of Colorado to you, listening around the world, this is Spaced Out Weekend with Tessa Nicole Thomas.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow! That's Bumblefoot, our guitar god. And I just wanted to thank Bumblefoot, being it's my 1-year anniversary. Thank you so much for allowing me to use your song as my intro and my break songs. And if you send me your address, I'll send you a thank you card. But welcome back, Chris. It's been great having you on tonight. Thanks so much for being here this evening and hanging out with us.
You're welcome. Anytime.
And it's funny, when I had read off GJ Black, and at first I said he, and then I was like, I think it's a she. And then she came back in and said it was a she. And she was saying thank you so much for that, and she really does miss her mom. And thanks so much for the reading that you had given her.
Anytime.
PBR was wondering, do you have a familiar, Chris?
Yes, I do. I have a familiar cat that was named Shadow. She's been gone for a long time. There's other 2 familiars I have, but they're in, I guess you can say, in physical form. Not physical form, but it's in an animal form. So I have different totems. So yes, I am familiar with the familiar. And not only that, I think I was a familiar too at one time. So
right.
So I've always felt like I didn't come back as just a human. I do feel like in times that I wasn't reincarnated as an animal too. So funny that you mentioned that, because I've always been drawn to cats, so like black cats, and I know I was a familiar at one time or another. I always feel so connected to them. It's like I'm not saying all the other cats are not familiars, but I think the black ones are very in tune with people that are very gifted. And they're very mystical, and they have this very innocence to them, but there's just so much beyond those eyes that you look at. So just keep that in mind, that you might just be looking at a human person that is a cat, so you just have to be careful what you do in front of them.
Right. They can be very vindictive. It's funny because you're talking about a cat. As a familiar and such, and all of a sudden your dog is kind of like scratching in discontent. Like, forget about the cat. Dogs are better.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, he continued on with a cat or a bird or a lizard, but yes, cats are very familiar as familiars. A lot of people prefer those as familiars. And they do kind of tune in. Some cats can be very standoffish and don't even want to have human contact or anything to do with you unless you're feeding it. And some are very kind of all up in your space. And even though your cat has passed away, it could still be your familiar, just on the other side.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that when I hear bells, when I have bells, it reminds me, because I had bought her a bell, so whenever she would jump the fence or whatever, she would come and I would hear ding, 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 ding. I was like, oh, there she's coming. So it's just something that I remember the first day that I lost her, I took it hard because she was so protective, and she would just come to me. And then, you know what? This is what's so weird. Now, tell me if this is odd, Tessa. I want you to listen to this, okay? And this is true. I was doing a reading on my cousin, and my cousin, me and her were cousins, but in this she was my sister. Now, tell me if this is odd for the people that are listening. I want you to think about this. Well, she was an outside cat. We had her inside most of the time when it was real bad. When it was during the Halloween time, we had her inside. But most of the time she was wanting to be outside. She was an outside cat, but she protected, when something was coming or whatever. Well, one day my cousin comes over with my cousin, her dad, and they were all everybody was everywhere. And she goes, I want to read it from you. And I said, okay. So she already knew I had a cat. She had never seen the cat until she came over, and she's like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, it's my cat. And she goes, what's the name? And I told her, and she looked at me. She goes, why did you name him Shadow? I said, I don't know. It's just a feeling I had. Well, anyway, I took my cards out. Okay. And one thing I kind of thought it was odd that she was purring a lot on the legs, and she was always around me. And she got on the table, and I was reading the cards, and she moved all the cards with her paws, and she kept getting in the way with the cards, and I'm thinking, what? So I was like, that's weird. And then my cousin's like, why is she doing that? I said, I don't know. But in my inner part of me, I kind of knew, but I didn't say it because I didn't want to believe it. So I told her, get down. So she got off, and then she started being around my cousin, and I'm saying, that's weird. She's around you. Which my cousin is very gifted, but she keeps denying it because she tries to be normal, but in our family, there's no such thing as normal. Well, anyway.
There's no such thing as normal. That's just a ploy.
So then after that, we got my cards and I had to shuffle them again. And guess what she did? She got on the table again. And with her paws, it was like she was moving the cards. And my cousin goes, you're seeing this? And I'm like, yes, I don't know why she's doing that, but I feel weird off of her. So then after I put the cards up, she jumped off the table. And it wasn't an outside table, as a matter of fact. It was in the front. And we never did the cards in front of her again, so we did the cards inside. And I told my cousin, she goes, why is she doing that? I said, well, there's a folk tale, and it's very true. Familiars can be witches. And I told her, I said, this cat must have some kind of past life. And she's like, you really believe? I said, yes, I do believe cats can be. He could be a human in an animal's body. And I said, for her to be getting all the cards with my tarot, I said, that's just 2 times in a row and shuffling the cards like she's reading them. I said, you tell me what that's kind of odd. So I want y'all to think about this. Do you think a black cat can be a witch in a cat's body? My personal perception, yes, I think they can. And I do feel that she was also a witch, because sometimes a lot of people don't know this, but this is true, and I'm not saying anything, but a lot of the black cats or familiars, they help their witch in craft, which means if she felt like I was a witch or I was a psychic, a witch or a medium, she would help me in whatever I needed to learn. So they usually are very close to someone that does kind of like crafty stuff, like these, candles and stuff like that, and tarot, because tarot is craft, it's within it's a gift itself. So they are very, very protective of their owners, and they're they teach you a lot just by looking at and how they behave. So that's the question for the night. Do you believe that a cat can be a human in a cat form?
I do, because, I believe in reincarnation only because, I've heard several different stories, but I didn't really believe it until my youngest daughter started doing different things that didn't make sense, that lined up with somebody else in a past life during wartime. Her basically being a nurse, a wartime nurse that was shot and ended up bleeding out and dying. But yeah, after that I was like, wow, I totally believe in reincarnation, and I think it could go upwards if you could be a better human. Or some people, like, sometimes I wish I was a dog. Like, look at how well they're treated, or a cat. They're so well treated. There are those that are out there that are abused, but I think it's possible to be that way. And as far as you were talking about curses and such earlier, it could be that way as well, because this individual you're saying could be a witch trapped in a cat's body. It is totally possible that this individual was cursed to be a familiar in their next life, or just basically wanted to, and got what they wanted because they did what they needed to do in this life to progress to that form in their next life. I don't know. There's so many different variations.
And it's funny because I do feel that she was guiding me with my gift. So I do feel that in some format, she is around me as well. I feel her very strongly, even though I don't hear the bells anymore. It's been a long time. But I do feel that she helped me with things that I needed to know because the black cats are very psychic. I mean, very, very psychic. I've always believed that. I'm not saying that. And it's funny because when you really have a black cat and a white cat, it kind of makes you question magic itself, too. So it kind of, I don't know. That's just kind of makes you question between the light and the dark. It doesn't mean that it's dark. It's just the metaphysical part aspect of it. But it just really makes you think about cats, and cats are very psychic. I'm not saying all the animals are not, like the dogs, because dogs are very in tune. But I think when it comes to cats, they have this kind of like, these funky way of being. It just kind of makes you think, like, is this a human and a cat in a human in a cat body? Because the way they act, they act so human that it makes you question, what is it? What is that cat's secrets? When you look in the eyes, what is it that cat holds that you do not know? And it made even question me when I was doing the cards. It questioned me at first because I kind of knew if she was going to get on the table. I said, this cat is a familiar. She's a witch teaching me different things. And then it was funny because she was around my cousin. And I guarantee you, she never got around anybody else but me or my cousin. And that's kind of odd because we were sisters. She was my sister, so that's kind of like very interesting. And everybody else, she didn't get near except for me and her. So really think about that. Really think about it. It makes you question things. And I'm pretty sure, if, Nikki, if you're listening, I'm pretty sure you're going to be like, "Oh my God, this is going to be interesting, an interesting night." So yeah.
Yeah, it is very interesting, and I had a wonky cat, and I have a tuxedo cat, and my wonky cat died last time. He was murdered by the dogs when I was in Phoenix. Our roommate actually let the dog and puppies in, and they attacked my cat. He was kind of handicapped. He was the handy cat, but he was so smart and amazing, and he was like my familiar. And then the funny thing is, okay, so we had Cleo. She's still here. She's our tuxedo cat. She calmed down a lot after Wonky had passed. And then my husband started going and randomly visiting this little black kitten at this lady's house, which I'm like, okay, why do you keep going and visiting this cat? Like, you're totally not a cat person. He really didn't like cats at all. But he kept going and seeing this one little black kitten. And now we have it here, and believe it or not, her name is Shadow.
Oh my God, what are the odds? What are the odds? Oh my God, that's so creepy.
Right?
Okay, Tessa, I think we need to talk more about that later.
I'm like, that is so weird. Moving right along to the next question. No,
you got me thinking, though.
I know, isn't that so weird? Okay, so Robin said, I finished watching this TV show called Jailbirds. One of the women went by Monster. Her real name is Megan. Why was I drawn to her? That, to me, I have no idea. What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
Honestly, I think it's just crazy because it amazes me. I think there's a reason why you're drawn to her. There could be some kind of secret to that. So, I don't know. It's just very interesting.
Maybe it could because she goes, well, she has a name, but she prefers to go by Monster for different reasons. Perhaps you kind of relate to her, different things that she does, different personality traits and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Robin was also saying his friend Ross Allison has a haunted doll called Mr. Creepy. Will he ever find Mrs. Creepy?
Honestly, I think, oh my God, I just got a weird message for that. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm getting so touched because I remember there was this story, and this really did happen. Okay, I'm just gonna explain the story, and then this is gonna go along with what you're asking. Okay, I had a friend. Okay, she did live in Atlanta, but she had to move to Florida because she lost her husband. Okay, she didn't have her mom, and she had to take care of her dad and, and live with him. Okay. And, oh my God, I'm actually getting wanting to cry. Sorry, guys, if I get emotional. And she's a good friend of mine. She was actually one of my spiritual teachers, like my friend. She was like my sister. She was testing me with gifts and stuff, but we'll talk about that on another show. Well, anyway, her dad was already getting sick, and all her family is very in tune. And she had I think a brother or somebody in the family that said, "Well, hey, you need to come home," because she was working, and she had got a call because her dad was in and out of the hospital, and they said, "Well, Dad's in the hospital again." Well, the sad part was when he was near his deathbed, he was very active. Okay, and this is so weird. I'm actually getting chills all over my body just talking about this, and this is someone that's not even related to me physically. And her dad was like, trying to be very active. He was very coherent. He was outside, and you'll never guess. He went outside, and they took him in a wheelchair, and they were just walking all around because he was still kind of coherent, and he was already to where they couldn't do anything for him anymore, but they had him in hospice. So out of the blue, they went to the backyard, and they had seen this cat, and she called her brother and says, "Oh my God, bro, you need to come over here like ASAP. I mean, no joke." He comes back. He pulls up, and he wasn't that far. And they had seen a cat they hadn't seen in years. This cat had left the house, never came back home. The cat just disappeared after her mom passed, and her dad's sick. This cat shows up after 10 years later. And she was like, looking at her brother, and she's like, "You know what that means, right?" And I was like, "This cat's in the flesh. You could see, he could see the cat." So the cat came back and was around, and they fed it, but they kind of questioned it. And then, like, later on, to make a story short, her dad passed away. The cat left after her dad passed, and they haven't seen the cat since. But it was funny how the cat left, came back, because when her dad was more active, when he was younger, that was his favorite cat. That cat hadn't been seen in 10 years. Where did the cat come from? And that's what they were questioning. Where did this cat come from?
Right.
After so many years. And they even left a missing cat, they left a reward and nothing. No one ever seen the cat before. And on top of it, it was even, what was so funny was the cat was just looking at him, and it was on top of like a bench. I think they had like a backyard bench, and he was just staring at him. And then, like, after I guess the cat saw the dad, he came towards them, started going around his legs, and they fed him. And then after her dad passed, the cat left. They haven't seen the cat since. They don't know what happened. And it's so weird because she had told me the story, and I'm like, wow. So what I'm going to tell you with that story, that sometimes cats come back for a reason. It's not always for death, but for that interpretation, it was that meaning that after so long, she had a short time with her dad, and it was just something that reminded her that this was his cat, and the cat was coming for him. So when he crossed into the light, the cat went with him. The cat was never seen. I don't know if the cat died, but I'm pretty sure it did. But that's just and I don't know if that relates to the question, but think about it. Sometimes animals do come back after so many years. So if I see my shadow come back, I don't know what that's going to mean for me. Hopefully it doesn't mean the same thing that happened to her. But it kind of makes you question things, because this cat hadn't been seen in 10 years. And if you really think of odd numbers in 10 years, and you look at that, if you look in the tarot, and 10, the card 10 is beginnings. if you look up the card, the 10 card in the tarot, that means beginnings, which means changes. So that there is a meaning why that cat came back. So with that story, with that, whoever asked that question, hopefully that gives you an answer that cats have a reason why they come back. So really think about that. Sorry, guys, I got very emotional with that story, even though it wasn't my cat. But yeah, it's just amazing. It really is.
And I got so into like the cat story, I missed if there is going to be a Mrs. Creepy. I think I missed that part.
Honestly, if they're going to have that cat come back, I doubt it. If it does, it's a miracle. Like, literally, that's a miracle because cats don't always come back. And for that story, that cat came...
I think Mrs. Creepy would be a doll. Mr. Creepy's a doll, right?
I don't know. I would think so.
Let me look again, because I'm pretty sure that Mr. Creepy is a doll that belongs to Ross, who is from Haunted in Seattle. Hold on 1 minute. Let's hear. Okay, my friend Ross Allison has a haunted doll called Mr. Creepy. Will he find Mrs. Creepy? So yeah, they're dolls.
Honestly, unless if that doll has legs and comes back, yes.
Right.
But dolls, no. If I don't think it can come back, but I think if it's like if you moved a lot, I'm being told to look in a box because it might be somewhere where you would least expect. And I think if you find it, that would be a miracle from the heavens, because maybe there's like an attachment reason why you want to look for the doll. But if it comes back, it's because it's, oh my God, I just heard the word destiny. It's destiny for the doll to come back. If it doesn't, it's because it wasn't meant to be. Wow, I just got chills when I heard the word destiny because I just started shaking. My arms were just shaking.
That's funny. When I read that, I was like, man, I have a female doll here. And as soon as we brought her into the house, my brother had given it to us for one of my daughters, and my daughter was like, I want nothing to do with this doll. She just thought dolls were really creepy. So I'm wondering if I sent that to Ross, if that could be Mrs. Creepy. You never know.
You never know. You better be careful.
Right? It'd be better than her being hidden in the back of the closet where nobody can see her. Perhaps she could be out somewhere in public with a new love that she's found.
Yeah. And it just makes you question that. And I'm sorry, Tessa, I didn't mean to throw it off with that cat story, but it just amazed me because it really makes me think about, why did that cat come back after 10 years? I mean, if it was me, I would have been freaked out too. I'm like, what? And I would have looked at the cat like, where have you been?
Yeah, somebody in here is like, cats don't give a crap, but this one came back like how many years later? Like, wow, is this really this cat, or is this like some sort of demonic presence like living in this cat? What's happening?
To me, most people think that animals don't care, but they do. They feel that when the loved one misses them and looking for them, they feel, even though they're 1,000 miles away, they can be in the next town. They know. They're just like us. They have feelings too.
Yeah, they have souls. They have feelings. And I actually lost my dog Gilly today. She lived to a ripe old age of freaking 19 years old. The oldest pet I've ever had, and she had died several times, but then right as soon as you're like, okay, now we gotta take her outside, she'd like pop back to life, and you're like, wow. It's kind of like that scene on Austin Powers, won't you ever die? Like, this dog would never die. She'd die, and then she'd come back, and you're like, holy crap, what is happening? And the last 3 days, she's been kind of stuck at the same point at the bottom of the stairs, and she can't move, and she actually, peed in the spot she's laying, and I'm like, man, this is not cool. And she's just kind of wasting away in front of my eyes, and she just has this will, she wants to be there, and getting to the point of feelings and such. She's been there for me through so many hard times in my life, and she'd come and sit down to me, down next to me on the stairs with her butt where my butt is, and her legs kind of draped down the other stairs, like sitting like a human, and leaning over on me and asking me if I'm okay and making me feel better because she's just there for me. And she's, even though she can't tell me her feelings, she's portraying them spiritually to me, and she was just the most amazing, good dog. She always had a smile on her face. She was always happy, always the best dog ever, and so I'm really, really going to miss her, but I'm glad that she has passed on because, you know, they get arthritis and stuff when they get older, and even though she'd never cry about it, she'd never whimper, and she still always had that freaking smile on her face, I still knew deep down inside that she was hurting, and she just didn't want us to know about it, but she was amazing. You know, she was the best friend I ever had, and she was an animal. But yeah, she was awesome, and I'm so grateful to have her in my life. I was so pissed off when I went to adopt her because they're like, yeah, we'll hold her, and you come back on this day, and she'll be here. And I get there, and they adopted her out from underneath me to this family.
What?
And I'm like, are you serious? That was my dog, and you said if I come back at this time on this day, I could sign the paperwork for her and take her home. Oh, well, we sent her off to another family, so I continued to go to the pound and look for another dog. At this point, my husband had a Dalmatian where all his spots were like touching. And so I found this dog that was white with just a few spots on it. So I was like, okay, I'll take this dog. And then they're like, well, is this the dog you want? Like, did you connect with it? And I'm like, well, yeah, but there was this dog that was my dog, and you guys adopted out from underneath me. And I went into the whole spiel, and they're like, oh, she's back. The family brought her back. She didn't get along with the family. And I was like, good. I don't want this dog. I want that dog. That's my dog. And so she's been my dog ever since, and a really, really big key family member in my family. So I'm really grateful that I got to have her. She was amazing.
And I'm sorry to hear about that, Tessa. I really am. And I know that she's in a better place, though. So.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, when you have a family member that's lived a really, really long, full life, and they're just kind of ready to go. It's just, they can't. they have the will to live, and there's nothing that'll get rid of it. So I'm sad about it because I'm really going to miss her, but at the same time, I'm not going to have to worry about her hurting and being in pain anymore, and me not being able to help her the way that I wish I could, you know. So she's in a better place, and I know she's still going to be here with me because she just refused to leave. She's just going to continue to live here as a spirit pup, you know.
Yeah, and that is true with you, that animals do have feelings. Some people might not be animal person, you know, but I just think that animals have feelings, and they're very in tune with their owners. When something's wrong, they know it. You might not think about it, but you have to pay attention to their behavior. It's just something that they feel. It's just like they're like a part of your family, and you know, and that's just something that I have to share because I know that Shadow's in spirit, and I'm pretty sure she's just purring, meow, meow, you know, but it's like she just probably doesn't want me to hear her, but she's probably around, you know, and stuff, because I ain't even gonna lie, there's times where every once in a while, it hasn't been in a long time, but I would hear footsteps, and I would tell my dog, be quiet, stop doing it, and then when look, he was asleep, and I'm like, what's that, like? And I'm thinking, who's in my room? And I know it's not a human being because you could hear the footsteps. And I'm thinking, this has got to be a cat. Because cats usually tend to scratch, you know, the walls and stuff. So so I'm thinking that she's still around. She's probably more outside than anything. She was in my room, so if she is a cat, she can come through the walls, you know, whenever she wants to visit. But yeah, and then sometimes, you know what's so weird, and this is so weird, that's strange. Oh my God, I'm really bringing this, and this is very interesting. Sometimes, this is very rare, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes your familiars as a cat, they come back as it's like they say, you know what, I'm gonna be reborn and reincarnated as a cat. Okay, once they have that life, and what they're supposed to do is be there for you and that. What are the chances? Like they say, cats have 9 lives. What are the chances that that cat, that was that familiar, that was a witch or a human being, when that cat dies, you get reincarnated, that cat comes back to you in a human form? Now, that could even be possible, but the only thing different is that person that comes back as, you know, your pet, and that cat has a human, you know, a spirit, and then the cat dies, and then it comes back as a human form. I mean, what are the odds of that? That would be amazing for a shadow to come back in a human form to see, to show me what she would look like in human form. And I do believe in that. And a lot of people might think I'm nuts, but think about it. I'm psychic, so come on. I have very in tune, and I do believe in a lot of different weird things that people might not believe. But hey, in this life, anything is possible. So don't underestimate God, because sometimes if God wants you to see what your cat would look like in human form, He could send that person back exactly the way the cat would be, with funky hair,
right?
or you never know. You just never know. I don't know about you, Tessa, but there is big possibilities, and with God, anything is possible.
Well, I do believe anything is possible, and I'm very open-minded, and like as someone said earlier, not to the point of my brain falling out, but I do have a very large, keen sense of common sense, which is a flower that doesn't grow in everybody's garden, but it's very important to be open-minded to things because anything is possible, and to me, fact is indeed stranger than fiction, so many times over. But going back to the familiar, PBR was wondering, Chris, did you have like a mind meld with your familiar? Were you that close to your familiar that you could kind of know what it's thinking, so on and so forth?
Yes. I would talk to the cat literally, and she would meow every time, and like if it was like I would tell her to lay down, she would lay down. So yes, it was like almost like, oh my God, I can't even describe it, and I'm getting emotional. But I guess it's just because we had a very, very strong connection. It seemed kind of like uncanny too. The connection was so strong. It was just amazing how you can connect with an animal like that.
So he was
yes.
also saying, since you have a familiar, she's a witch, right? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm. Yes, she was.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And just continuing on with reading the chat room here. Donna was saying, I know you're confused, but many native men have higher voices and sound female, but that's because they're closer to nature. I think there's a different little conversation going on here about magic and natives and so on and so forth. And then he spelled magic as far as with your witch, Magick instead of Magic. There are different spellings for magic.
Yeah, there is. And it's funny, too, because that's funny that they were talking about the voice. And I don't know what they're talking about, but I know it's, and this kind of relates. And you can say it's common sense, but I don't believe that. In my other lifetimes, I was always a female. Okay, I was always a woman. I was a girl. I was a gypsy witch. I was a tarot card reader. I was just in every life, I was always a psychic, but it was in those lives, I was considered a witch. They didn't call me a psychic back in those days, in my other lifetime, because I remember a lot of my past lives. And with that being said, I always knew that I had a feminine voice. Now, sometimes, to this day, some people would call my mom, and sometimes if she don't answer, I would answer the phone, and they would call me, my mom's name, and I was like, no. They're like, and then I would tell them my name, and they're like, oh my God, you sound like your mom. So then sometimes when I give her the phone, I would laugh, and I said, Mom, it's Theo calling, my uncle. And they would laugh, and I would hear them on speaker, and I go, man, he sounds just like you. And my mom's like, yeah, I've heard that many times. And it's so weird because I know that with my voice the way it is, I've been told that I was very feminine. And I just feel like being psychic, being very feminine, I think in my other lifetimes, I brought a lot of that energy into this life, even though I'm a guy, but I still have that woman voice. And my voice has been like this since I was like 15. So my voice has not changed. And if y'all knew me back then, you would be like, my God, you have not changed a bit. So, yeah, my voice has stayed this since I was 15. So my voice has been the same. Isn't that kind of odd?
I find it interesting because when we talked after I had you on the show the first time, I was like, not trying to be insulting or say anything derogatory about you or whatever, but you do have different feminine qualities. Like, I'm picking up on a female even though you're a male, but you're saying in your past lives you were a female. And it's funny because a lot of people in our chat room as well are calling you Miss Chris, you know, or Miss Garcia. And I'm like, this is a male, not a female, but you do have those feminine qualities. Not saying that you're less of a man. We can just pick up on your past life traits, and that's pretty amazing when those are so hardcore and ingrained that they do come through.
Yeah, and it's weird too because sometimes our voice kind of interacts with who we were in the past. Like for you, Tessa, like even though you're a girl, but you have this like between soft and like masculine voice to you. So I'm for sure that you were a male in your past and your last recent past life.
Most likely, there's a few different traits that pop out where I am the man. I'm like, man, I'm the man in this relationship because this and this and that and that. And, you know, generally females are thought of this way and I'm thought of this way. And so it just kind of makes sense. So I could see that. And I actually have an opportunity from a lady that was on one of my first shows who did past life regressions, and she's like, come in and get a past life regression. And I'm going down to Phoenix this next week, so I'm thinking maybe I'll go in and get that done and see what she tells me, because I'm so very interested and intrigued. I am afraid of people walking around in my head because I'm afraid they're going to knock over, you know, this vase or this candle or whatever and break it, and, you know, I'm going to be kind of messed up after that. But at the same time, I'm very intrigued to see what doors they can open and what memories I can bring back or retain about a past life. It'd be so cool.
Sometimes I've thought about doing past life regression, but I really haven't been able to do that because I'm not in that time for anyone to read me, because, you know, the inner healing about what, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to talk about it on the air. But I went through a lot of stuff, and that's why lately I haven't told nobody. I even told everybody on Facebook, I said, I don't want no one to read me. Please don't read me. Please respect me. Don't try to invade my space, because I will know when you're trying to read me. I just told everybody right now, I'm not in a situation to be read. And the reason why is because a lot of the stuff I might not want to hear, especially of, you know, of what's going on with me. I just don't want to know it, you know. And that's just, I guess, it's because I'm just not ready to hear it. So, like when they say, when you're not ready to hear it, you can't help that person. So that's why I'd rather just, you don't want to know anything. And with all that stuff that I'm going through, I prefer just, you know what, when I'm ready, I will call you if I want a reading from you. But other than that, don't read me, because I do not want to know.
Yeah, and here it is almost a year later, and I'm like, I think I might take her up on that now. So yeah, I might do that when I go down there. That might be a cool thing to bring her back on the show and talk about that.
You know what? Let me know how that comes out, Tessa. Like, privately message me. You can let me know, because I'm curious about what she's got to tell you.
I might even be like, hey, Chris, we're about to do this past life regression. You want to be on speakerphone and you can listen in or whatever. And then we can do the show, all three of us, you know?
Never know.
PBR was asking, he wants to know how many candles are in your house, Chris, and he's also wondering if you have an altar.
Yes, I do. I have 2 candles lit right now. My mom has her own, but for me, I have 2. And I always do 1 candle for me and my mom, and then I have another candle that does that altar that's for like clients. And then sometimes if I feel like I need to, if I don't have room for the other candle on the other altar, I have that for just me and whatever issues I'm going through. So like protection, relationship, or if I don't have any clients that want candles burned, then I just focus on, you know, doing things for me. But most of the time it's mostly for clients on that other altar that I have.
That's cool. I've never had an altar. What exactly is it? Is it kind of like, you know, I have pictures and different things to remember somebody on a mantle, but I don't like really do the candles or anything. Is it kind of like that, and you give energy to that person or thing, whatever you're really doing?
Yeah, sometimes you just do like I guess if you have like a certain saint you use, you can leave a candle for them and you just pray to them depending on what you're wanting. But not if you don't have a saint or nothing that you work with, then you can just do a candle and just pray to whoever you're being called up on. Because sometimes people use different goddesses, so sometimes when you have an altar, they dedicate their altar to the goddess and they give them offerings and they petition them to whatever issues, their career, their love, relationships, just whatever, so yeah.
Well, we do have a call here from area code 206. Who are we talking to?
It's Nikki again. I've got a question about past lives.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Chris, you were talking about past lives a few minutes ago, and how many is, I was going to say the average person's past lives, but how do I ask this? How many past lives does a person have before they typically choose not to return?
Honestly, some people can have up to 1,000, but I don't think that's a random number. But I'm just thinking anywhere from, because I just heard 1,000, but in my mind, I think that's just something trying to block me. But for some reason, I want to say, if I just wanted to say a random guess, because I just heard something between 40 to 60, I say that there can be like 40, 60, even 80 past lives. But some of the other ones, you probably will not remember because they're not important to remember. I think the ones that are very significant, like if you were a royalty, you're going to remember that. If you were a gypsy witch, you're going to remember that. If you were a voodoo priest, you're going to remember that. Anything that has power in it, you're going to remember. Anything below that, you're not going to remember because they don't want you to remember. The only time you can get that is that when you can get records to your up there when you cross over, or if somebody has access to the records to look through your files of what other past lives you had that are at least important, that have to do with your spiritual path. Like for me, in most of all my lives, I always did tarot, I always did divination, I always did readings, or I did crafts. So in all my lifetimes, I know that I was always either a psychic witch, sorcerer, or whatever they called me back then in those lives. So in every life, I've always had magic and the gift around me. So with me, there's always something that I might not remember. And other times, maybe I was a royalty or I was a cop. But in those, I probably wouldn't remember very much because those are something that I probably wanted to be, but it just wasn't that important. So anything that goes with your gift, you're going to remember.
Nikki was also asking before she called in your past lives, did they call you a heretic?
Honestly, that I can remember, no, I don't recall that any time. The only time I was called, and I was called a witch, literally, there was even somebody that called me a brujo, which is a witch in Spanish. But I've been called like witch, sorcerer, seer. I've been called different names, as you know, I remember growing up. Because psychic didn't come out until like the 1900s or around the mid 1800s. So I was called like a lot of the things that people call the old timers back in the old days. So I was always called different names. Now with that name that you told me, Tess, I've never been called that. That would be something totally different for me. But for Nikki, I hope that I answered your question. But I think for you, I think the only thing I can give you is that you would remember the past life that you're supposed to remember. Now, anything that you don't remember, and this is what they're telling me to tell you, what you don't remember, you probably blocked out because there was trauma or there was chaos. So if anything that you do not remember of any of your past lives, but you have maybe some kind of glimpse of it, there's going to be some things that you don't want to remember because you blocked it out, because you wrote that script of what you did and did not want to remember.
That sounds about right.
And did you ask him how many past lives you had? Because I saw that in the chat room as well.
I want to say between 40, at least 80 past lives. But most of them, you would maybe remember maybe out of 80, you might remember like 5, maybe 6 if you're lucky.
Holy
Sometimes you
shnikes.
might.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, I was told a long time ago that I was a sea captain and that I went down with the ship, and I actually had memories of the portal because I was actually in the ship trying to save the ship, and yeah, that one kind of freaked me out. But you know, I've had other ones.
yeah, and I'm going
that
to tell you
have
which ones I've
fascinated me.
had too, that I remember one lifetime, and I don't even know what I was doing. But I remember one time I was drowning in one of my past lives.
Mhm.
And I want to say like 2 of them I had that was drowning, but I don't know what that means. But I mean, must have been a sailor, or I don't know anything about that. Because I mean, I can probably look into it, but I would probably have to have somebody that's very in tune to read. Go
Well,
into more.
One of the things that I've learned is that, and I don't know if this is true with you, Chris, but one of the things that I've learned about me is that a lot of the things that I dearly loved in past lives have followed me in this life. Animals, horses, when I was, well, all the way through life, actually, horses. But I wasn't involved a great deal in horses this time around. Just a number of things. Being able to speak with animals, that hasn't lasted through a great amount of my adulthood. I can still communicate with animals, so to speak, but not like I did when I was a kid. My mom used to call me the female version of Dr. Doolittle. But stuff like that, I mean, they follow you through your past lives and whatever you're doing now and things that you just love stick with you.
Yeah, you know,
And
that's funny you say.
I find that fascinating.
I'm going to tell you a little secret too that's funny. That I'm going to give you a little more validation. This is what my friend told me, and this was one of my special friends. I might even introduce you to her, but I got to ask her first because I don't know if she's busy, but I'll message her later tomorrow, but I'm going to tell you what she told me. She told me everything you see around you is a part of who you were in your past. Everything that you bought, you didn't buy it for no reason. It found you. So like, for instance, if necklaces, different symbols. So everything everything I've done was a part of who I was. So that's something that you need to remember. Anything that you have around your room, like if you have a metaphysical room, so if you were like, say if you're drawn to elves or dwarfs or anything of that nature, or dream catchers, it's all a part of you. Everything you have is a part of you. Everything. So remember that.
Fascinating. Thank you. That just triggered some stuff, and I'm like, wow, okay, that actually explains this and this.
Heck yeah.
I didn't even think of that until just now, and I'm like, wow, that's a really cool realization. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. Anytime I can help you, I'm here.
Thanks, Nikki.
I know the feeling is mutual. I'll talk to you later, guys.
All right, see you at the after party, I hope.
Yes, you will.
Awesome. Bye. Donna was saying in her past lives, she has been both male and female, and it's no big deal. It helps with dealing with people. And it's funny because I relate more with men than I do women. I actually have more male friends than I do women friends, and I just kind of feel like, for the most part, women are drama. Bitches be crazy, you know?
Yeah.
They be tripping, you know? Sometimes I've pushed a few, but generally... yeah. So, yeah, that's funny how that all works out, how we have these different tendencies and different feelings and such. And like you're saying, if you like fairies, and I'm looking at the wall back here, I'm like, am I part like frog and Sasquatch and
you're just
gnome
at
and
everything.
pumpkin and alien and what have I been all these past lives? But it's so funny. Yvonne wanted to say that you sounded very solid tonight and awesome. Let's see.
I appreciate Yeah.
Oh, here we have a caller. Area code 425. Who are we talking to?
You're talking to Robin again.
Hey, Sir Robin, how's it going?
It's going good.
What's up?
So
how can I help you?
So my question for Chris is that, so it's a past life question also.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a bookstore and I went to the folklore, and it happened to be Japanese mythlore and legends, and a lot of it seemed very natural to me, and I was just wondering why.
Because you probably were into like anything that was more like Chinese, and I'm thinking that you were probably like a warrior, like a person, like almost like Bruce Lee. And I'm also seeing like a Buddha around you, so I think between Chinese and Buddhism, you were into all that stuff. So anything that goes with the Chinese and Buddhism relates to you because you had different past lives with that. So that's why you're into that Oriental stuff, because you were an Oriental person. That's why.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And yeah, maybe I was a man in the past life, but everybody keeps calling me Dave during the show, and I'm like, I'm not Dave! I'm Tessa! It's TessaTNT! I'm right here! That's been funny. I'm like, is Dave here, or do you guys just keep calling me Dave? They just keep calling me Dave, so maybe I have multiple personalities, perhaps.
Probably.
PBR was wondering in our last couple minutes, and I don't know where this came from, but he said, how did it feel to be burned at the stake? Were you ever burned at the stake, and do you remember how that felt?
If I was ever burned in the past lives, no, I wasn't. I kept quiet of who I was. And I know what you're talking about. That goes back to
very smart. Yes.
I was very smart to not talk about the stuff that I had, because back in the witch trials, if you talked about who you were, you get burned. So I know what you're talking about. No, I didn't get burned, because if I would have, I would have like past life markings on me. Because I know most of the witches that were accused, a lot of them have like markings on their neck, and they still have that marking in this life. So if you have a marking on your neck, it was because probably you were in that past life with the witch trials.
So what I was going to say about markings, it's not only on me, but on all my children, and we all have this diamond shape on the back of our necks where the skull meets the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking earlier, perhaps that could be like during German times, being kind of just basically assassinated and shot in the back of the head. But are you saying it could be something else to do with like witchcraft or something like that?
With the markings, with the strangle, I know that's witchcraft. Now, anything like a dot or anything, I would say that you were probably shot or assassin in that lifetime.
Yeah, it's like a perfect like diamond shape.
So there's probably a chance that you were shot in that past life. So yes, that could be symbol of that you went back in the old days, that you were probably like in a German or in some kind of war, and you were like a slave or something. So it could be anything. You just got to research.
Well, Chris, we're at the end of our time. Would you like to tell our listeners where to find you and how to contact you for the contact in the future?
Well, if they want to contact me, they can contact me at 210-974-3470. Again, 210-974-3470. Or Garcia187bluelove@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, Chris Psychic Garcia. Or you can also find me on Twitter, but you just got to say my number. And you can message me in case if you have Twitter. If you want to add me on there, you can. And that's all I have to say. And thanks for having me on the show as always, Tessa. Hopefully to be back on next month if, things get better. And love y'all guys.
Heck yeah, I'll definitely have you back. I've had you back every month since I've had you in the very beginning, and I don't plan to change anything anytime soon. But I want to thank you so much for being my guest again tonight, and it was so wonderful having you on the show this evening. And thanks so much for hanging out with me on my 1-year anniversary on SOR Radio.
Happy anniversary, too. Happy anniversary.
Thanks, Chris. And thank you to everyone in Spaced Out Radio, Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Paranormal Radio, TalkStream Live, Deep Talk Radio, and wherever else you may be listening in the universe. I had a wonderful time this evening, and it was my pleasure, literally and figuratively, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend on spacedoutradio.com. You guys have a wonderful week. Don't work too hard. I'll see you back here next weekend. And until next time, nighty-night, love and light to all my space cases out there. You guys don't forget, we are all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we own the night. You guys take care of my yous. Don't party too hardy. And make sure you make it to work on time tomorrow night. And don't work yourself to the bone. If you guys want to come and hang out with us for the 1-year anniversary weekend SOR Asylum after party, you can hang out with us at 970-335-9596. 970-335-9596. And that's by Skype or phone. Night night, love and light. Mwah.